Hello, and welcome back to RPGs Uncovered for another episode of the Starcrier Conflict. We are on episode 6 today, which is very exciting. Should be the wrap-up of our first mission, but we'll see. I've been saying that for the last 3 episodes. Alright, so, a few quick announcements. As always, I like to keep this relatively short so we can jump into things. We'll talk a little bit more during the intermission and the after show about what we have going on. But I specifically want to give a shout out to my friends over at Veil of the Void at the beginning of this episode. I usually say that for the intermission and the outro, but I missed it last week with all the craziness. I was so engrossed in what was going on, I completely forgot. They are a sponsor for this show. This show is brought to you in part by Veil of the Void Reforged. It is an excellent sci-fantasy TTRPG, indie TTRPG. It's been featured on this channel. I've been friends with the creator. I've been extolling the virtues of this game long before they've been giving us just a little bit of money to put towards art. So don't just take my word for it. Go back, watch previous episodes of RPGs Uncovered, check it out yourself. And there's a discount code which you can get during our outro. It's just RPG that you can get. I believe it's 10% off over on the store over there. I'll go into more of it later, but I wanted to give them a shout out first thing this episode since we missed it last episode. Other than that, I would like to direct you guys over to the Mayhem meter. If you are here on Twitch, you can scroll down, head over to the About section, and see a nice... It'd be cool if I could make it blinking and flashing, but I don't know how to do that yet, if it's possible. But a nice warning Mayhem meter banner there that you can check out. I point that out first because that is a collection that gets split up between all of these fantastic people. It's the best way I can think of trying to get these people actual compensation for their time and their commitment and their incredible creative gifts that they give me on a weekly basis. So if you want to help support the show, and particularly these wonderful, creative, talented people, do drop some money into the Mayhem meter. And for that, every $50, you see there's a meter just above my head. Every $50, something crazy happens. I have things planned. I have other things planned. We'll see how it goes. It doesn't necessarily unlock anything that would not otherwise be possible to come out, but it definitely makes it far more, well, in this case, explosive. You'll see if we hit $50. But regardless, that's the best way to contribute to helping me help these wonderful people for the ways that they help me. Other than that, if you want to help out the show, go check out our Ko-Fi. We got some great stuff over there. More about that in the outro. I'm already talking too much, so let's throw it over to my players to introduce themselves, because I want to get on with this game, because I am so very excited to see what is going to happen. So, take it away, folks.
Hi, I'm Sean. Tonight I'm playing August Walker, aka Solitaire, your local jack of all trades who does a little bit of anything and everything.
Hey, howdy, hi. I'm Haley, and tonight I am playing Siobhan Carey, aka Bite, the person who's really fucked up a lot of things so far. Just a bad string of them. It's been good. It's been good.
Hi, I'm Q. Today I'm playing Logan O'Hara, aka Desperado, who is the damage sponge, apparently.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I use he/him pronouns. I'm going to be playing Intermission, also uses he/him pronouns, and currently is not going to be the pretty one anymore. We'll see how many guys I can take down before I go down in the process.
Hey, chick steak scars.
Hey all, it's Drake Lionheart. Most people call me Lion. I use they/he pronouns. Tonight I will be playing John Tavik Creighton Vasier Harrison the Fourth, who uses he/him pronouns and call sign Starblade.
Excellent. And hello, as always, I'm Jack. I'm the GM here most of the time. He/him pronouns works for me. So, also, just because people keep reminding me that I really should say it, go press all the buttons, tell people you like the show, bring them over, like, follow, subscribe, all of that nonsense. That out of the way. Let's dive into today's episode of the Starcrier Conflict. starting with a recap of what's been going on. And I know I've been doing them for the last couple episodes, so let me actually throw it over to the players, because I think we're at a pivotal point at the end of this mission where it could be very helpful for me, and you guys as the viewers, and the other cast members and players, to see what's really stuck with each of you guys. So who would like to give me a little bit of a recap? I know I'm springing this on you.
Well, let's put it this way. What hasn't gone wrong so far?
It's not about right and wrong, it's about what's been exciting.
Okay, so
it's been quite a
are we
while.
going... If we're going from start of the mission, I know that we got into the area. We are having to try to secure this facility from some micro-corp... They're pirates. They're basically pirates. We were kind of the tip of the spear, launched our way through. They knew that we were coming due to some not great rolls, and you know what? We've been making the most of it. We've taken out a decent number of their forces. Everything is going fine. Solitaire and I decided to go in and attempt some aggressive negotiations that may have resulted from a couple of threats, because it turns out that the leader of these people is Second Committee. At least it has their mindset, which they were expansionist, very fascist, and does not clash with our ideals. I know that he's attempting to flee. Solitaire is chasing him. I'm getting my teeth kicked in by about 8 guys right now. But the rest of the crew was able to do some very badass stuff on the outside. Personally, high point for me, Desperado taking down 10 guys with 3 guns. That was cool. Like,
Yep.
that was awesome. And I think Starblood came to try to give us a hand, and we're going to see what happens.
Yes.
There have been so many threats, and I'm responsible for like 70% of them, and I'm sorry for that.
The threats come in all shapes and sizes. Yeah, does anyone have anything to add? Or contend?
I think you covered it pretty well, to be honest. That was a pretty good
It's pretty
synopsis.
succinct.
I'm doing that from like 4 sentences of notes, guys.
Excellent. Excellent. Those are good 4 sentences of notes, then. Because yeah,
There are a lot of expletives in the last sentence. We're just going to leave that alone.
Yep. All right. Well, with that perfect introduction to where we all are at for today's episode, let's bring ourselves in with a usual RPGs Uncovered cinematic. So we pick up where we left off last time with Starblood's throne, his mech screaming into, burning as fast as he can from out of nowhere and bursting up towards the arcology, flying over the wall and probably slamming down onto the ground, transitioning into a run as he runs up to Desperado on the ground and Bite, I believe, in Buddy. Gets a very quick sit rep to learn that that Solitaire is somewhere in the facility, likely moving, and got a vague area where they may be. And then Throne took off, launching himself into the air and running atop the 2nd story roof to where that general understanding of where Solitaire is. That, of course, being in response to what we see on the inside as the camera transitions through the walls, through a few different offices, through a few different utilities between the walls, and we see Solitaire sprinting down the hallway in this facility that doesn't know much about, leaving behind a melee in the background. We hear Blacksmith calling out, go after that guy!" And we just hear, again, expletives and the sound of leather hitting meat repeatedly. We'll see how that is going as we jump in. But as Solitaire rounds a corner, we are going to smash cut once again outside to Bite and Solitaire. Bite and Desperado. Desperado, you have made quick work of this first team of who you identified as at least mostly civilians, mostly hostages, original residents of Drespol 1, who were outfitted in armor and anti-vehicle weapons to deter you from further attacking the facility. You manage to less than lethally incapacitate most of this first squad. And I say most of because you did definitely willingly choose to end the most problematic of them, the one who seemed to be instigating the violence from their side.
Yeah.
But otherwise...
Yeah, he needed to...
Yes. Otherwise, the rest of them are on the ground, probably clutching wounds. And we hear, not far away, not far being relative, this is a large building, but somewhere from the other side of the building where you know there was another squad of these civilian conscripted soldiers had been deployed to guard the other entrance to the arcology. You hear shouts and you hear boot falls as they are on approach. What, if anything, do you two decide to do with this new squad of potentially civilians? You don't know too much about them, and it would be a safe assumption to make that they're not any more informed about you than you are about them.
I'm going to get in the mech. Is there any tarps anywhere around?
Any tarps anywhere?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, there's there's old machinery and probably a loader of some sort over to one side. Looks like it's in the process of being repaired. Maybe it's just excess, maybe it's broken, you're not sure, but it has a tarp over it that you can go and grab.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna wrap around. We're gonna wrap that around like a poncho.
Excellent.
And as they come around, like there's just a big ass gun pointed in their direction, and I would like to say words out loud, like through, outbound speakers, if I can.
Sure. It would make sense that they're speakers. We've previously gotten out of the mech to communicate, but that's probably just for better personal communication and connection. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, cop cars have speakers. Your mechs can have speakers.
Right. Cool beans. Okay. I'm only going to tell you this once. Stand down. We're trying to fix this situation. Don't throw your bullets into the mix. We just make everything worse.
Okay. Leaving it at that, do you have any talents that would help in these?
Nope.
No. All right.
No. Sure don't.
So. Let me just point out some things that your characters, being in universe, might put together that you guys might not immediately think of. They don't know you guys are Union. They don't know that you're here to help. You could be another pirate force. You guys are Lancers. Lancers are mercenary forces. They were attacked by Lancers. So they don't know anything about you. They don't know you're here to help. They've been told that they need to go out here and stop you from attacking the facility where they and presumably other hostages that they care about are located. And you are, and I say you are actively attacking the facility because Throne is running on the roof getting ready to punch holes in it.
Right.
So do you have anything
Okay.
you would like to add to that? Not saying that you have to, but you might be able to make a more persuasive argument other than don't or I'll kill you.
I mean, I didn't say or I'll kill you.
Sure, not
It was
out
implied,
loud.
but that's not-
The quiet part.
All I'm saying is I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Just because that's what I meant doesn't
Yeah.
mean that's what I said. Okay. Okay. We were sent by the Union to retake this base from the pirates. I don't know what they were called.
You see, once again, it looks like there's one, maybe two people who are sort of leading this group of a dozen or so foot soldiers. Most of them are shaky. Many of them just have their weapons pointed in your general direction, as opposed to, being professionally trained on you. Go ahead and I'm just going to make this a basic check. I'm not going to make it risky. I'm not even going to give any difficulty. But just go ahead and make a base roll without a skill talent. That's just going to be a straight D10. Got to beat a 10 or 10 or above.
Okay.
Can I move this? Yes. Good.
Alrighty, let's just get that on out of the way.
All right.
We're still off to a great start, gang. I hate this thing so much.
I know.
It hates you.
Foundry has been so mean to you, Q. I will get back to that in just a moment. Bite, since you are here as well, do you have anything to contribute, either to this or anything else you might be doing out front?
Yeah, no, under the belief that Desperado has this handled, I think I'm still working on trying to locate the boys inside, or trying to find some way to assist them. Is there anything I can do? Are there security cameras in this building?
Certainly, yeah.
Perfect. I want to set up a quick and dirty code to go scanning for my people, so that I can locate them, and I want to give information, and I want to feed that to Throne.
Okay. You do not have an NHP, correct?
I do not.
You do not have a CompCon unit as one of your integrated systems, correct?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think
so that basically means that you're going to have to go through security cameras on your own.
Manually.
Yeah, manually.
Okay,
you don't have an integrated AI to be able to, parse through all of that data. So you're literally going to be like early espionage video game, clicking through the cameras.
Could I feed the camera feed to Kitsune?
Kitsune, being a servant class NHP, is very limited in what they can do, and very limited in who they respond to. They probably would not respond to you, and their previous instructions by Solitaire did not include parsing data from anyone.
That's fair.
When it gets upgraded to a student class, absolutely. A servant class, it's just not there enough to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
But this is something that you can work on, and
this.
even if you have to go through it manually. I mean, you can throw up a security screen and have 9 cameras at once and just nope, click, no. It's just it might take some time.
I know that Blacksmith is currently in a fight, don't I?
The last and only thing you heard, I believe, was shit's gone sideways.
Perfect. I'm going to assume that's a fight. And I will be looking for a fight in those cameras. I will flip through feeds, and I'm just looking for a fight.
Okay. Go ahead and... I mean, this is another hack check. I know you have
I do.
Hacker Fix, I think it's called. So go ahead and roll me a check there.
Budimus.
Q, I will let you, if you would like, push that roll. Meaning you would roll again as a risky check, if you would like to do that. That's a 20 from Bite. Excellent.
Sure fucking is.
Q, I believe you are muted.
I am. Okay. I think he's going to say, when he doesn't quite get a response and he's going to push more for it, Logan's going to say, listen, I'm from a mining planet too. I know that y'all are scared and just worried about your folks. Um, let us help you get to them safely.
I'm going to give you an accuracy for that as well. So roll an extra d6
Dope.
and add it on there.
All right.
Personal connection. There we go. Excellent. That is a 21 for folks listening in. So, we see, as we smash over to Bite in the cockpit of Buddy, I assume you have monitors up all over the place. It's a little hacker's den right here integrated into your mech. And we just see you going through multiple monitors of images at a time. Probably just swiping full Minority Report touch screens or whatnot, just moving things aside and flipping through. And with a 20, you'll find something soon, but we move the camera out of Buddy and back over to the side of the building, where there is definitely one of these soldiers out there. We can't hear because we're hovering over the shoulder of this mech, and as giant 2-story tall machines probably make a fair deal of noise, but we can look down and we can see that again, the leader of this group is looking back, his weapon trained forward, arguing with the people behind him. They're having some sort of conversation. And then another one just behind him off the side sort of looks up at this mech, looks back, and just grabs the guy between the arms and puts him in a lock. They pull him down. And quite a few of them stand there dumbfounded for a second, looking on, scared, moving their weapons from Desperado to the brawl here happening in front of them, looking around frantically. They seem to be contained at the moment. Are you happy to leave them to handle this melee on their own? Or would you like to further communicate, kind of try to corral them? Is there anything more to this, or are you happy just to let things simmer?
I think a simmer for now. I think I need to kind of figure out what's going on with the rest of my squad first before I deal with any of the actual civilians right now.
So you can sit there with your weapons vaguely trained in that general area, and this melee will sort of contain itself for the moment as they vie for power and authority in this group as to how they're going to proceed here. With that, we see this individual grab this guy, put him in a lock, and throw him down to the ground, and the camera spins on the asphalt and back into the facility. Blacksmith. Right now, you are at the very least 1 on 5. There were 3 people who were injured in the beginning of this attack. You slammed one down quite hard, picked up his weapon, and he was thrown across the room when Solitaire picked up the table and slammed it into 2 other individuals. They are most likely out of the fight, at least for right now, but you are held by the arm by one of them and just got clocked in the face. How would you like to proceed?
First things first, I'm just gonna spit blood, just look at him and be like, dude, come on, my sister hits harder than that. And then it's one of those just yeah, I deserve that one, and then I'm gonna spit again and just be like, some of the simulations you fuckers like to go, one at a time. Any chance we could do those rules?
Listen, kid. You probably wouldn't say kid. You're old enough not to be kid. And listen here, we were told to keep you here, keep you detained. Don't make this more difficult for either of us.
Yeah, well, see, the thing though is that if you should talk to some of my squad mates, I don't like doing that, and then I'm gonna attempt to like slip and then clock that guy like ideally in the throat would be the idea here. Is there a chance I could make like if I'm making a check, could I argue show off? Because I would like to try doing a fancy move that I learned from my time in the Circle of Blades.
I will say yes if your intent is to intimidate your way into a standoff as opposed
Oh,
to...
absolutely, yes.
Okay.
If I can buy a little bit of time for myself, that's
Yeah.
literally all I want.
So
because
this
the
won't
longer
remove you from the situation. This won't
No.
even necessarily incapacitate any part of the problem. I mean, the guy might recoil and have to call for a bit, but this will, if successful, at least create a standoff with you being more or less on equal footing.
Here's the thing. They're on me.
Mm-hmm.
Solitaire's chasing their boss.
Yep.
So
You
literally
just
at
need to
this
buy
point,
time.
I'm just trying to keep all eyes on me.
Excellent.
right.
Yeah, you can definitely roll that.
All right. That's a 15.
Okay. You do so. You sort of wrench your shoulder back, throw your weight down, slip out, spin, and just sort of clock the guy with a Captain Kirk chop to the throat. Spin around, grab that weapon you had, and hold this squad at gunpoint. They have their weapons trained on you. You have your weapon trained on them. They outnumber you now at least 4-1, but it doesn't look like they're immediately going to risk that firefight. All right.
So, just out of curiosity, you know, I've already taken my half you guys down. It's one of those, like, definitely, like I've got blood running from nose and mouth at this point. Definitely starting to show some signs of a little bit of fatigue. All right, so that's 4 down. What do you think that the rest of you could take Lancer, huh?
Our boss didn't say anything about not putting extra holes in you.
Hey, yeah, just out of curiosity, how outdated is your armor? When was the last time that was updated? I know it took us a little while to get here, but quite like I've seen the rest of your facility. The inside's nice. Arms and armor not so great. Mine might be a little better. Do you really want to test that?
Not the guy who is talking, but one of the other mooks in here is just going to shoot out some of the glass off to your side. It's enough talking. We're told to detain you. I'm happy to detain you just like this. Stay put and preferably shut the fuck up.
Oh, you really don't know me then. Is there a chance I could shoot that guy just in the foot?
The answer is absolutely yes. I will point out, however, that is clear escalation.
Okay, that's fair. I will hold that off for the time being and just be like, Dude, I've been getting shot at since I was like 17 years old.
So we will...
And, hey, just out of curiosity, with Throne being up on the roof, would we feel any of that right now?
You hear a lot going on. Well, I mean, you probably heard some muffled gunfire from outside. You are on the 3rd floor. This is made out of Starship Hall, so you actually probably don't hear much from outside. But you do probably start to hear at this point the heavy clanging of a giant machine on the side of a starship building.
I'm just gonna smile. Sounds like backup's here.
And with that, we will smash over. And instead of smashing over, I think we will leave you with that sort of cocky remark as the camera zooms past your shoulder down the hallway and turn the camera to see Solitaire chasing out after the direction that the Commodore has fled. Now, Solitaire, I need you to make some... Well, let me ask. Are you taking any sort of special approach to this, to catching up to the Commodore, or is this simply you are sprinting after him?
I'm just sprinting after him flat out.
All right. Do you have a skill talent that may help you with this? I know get
Not
somewhere quickly
really.
is one. I'm not sure you have.
Yeah, no, stay cool is the closest thing I've got, and that's only going to work under certain
Yeah.
circumstances.
I think get somewhere quickly is a specific one that you don't have. I'm going to say you don't have
it
the,
is.
the
Yeah.
skill for this. So, yeah, this is just going to be a straight, regular roll. No difficulty, not risky. So just straight roll, 10 or above.
That's an 11.
And 11. All right. You dash forward, juke down one corner. You can see he quickly turns down another hallway, juke down that corner. When you get to the point where you think you can take a shot, would you? Would you call out? Are you trying to get close enough to grab him? What is your preferred way of doing this?
I think. You know what? I think when I get a chance, and I'm going to say, because maybe 10, maybe 15 feet, if I get an open shot, I would like to try to throw my knife to disable him. Hit that calf, hit the, the thigh, something like that, that is going to keep him from running.
Okay. I would say that is a distinct enough action that I'm going to ask for a new roll there. It's not going to affect your position, it's just whether this immediately works or not.
Yeah, no, I figured. I would argue that my stay cool will work under that, since it is a task that requires concentration, dexterity, speed, or precision under pressure.
Yeah. I'll give it to you, yeah.
Roll. That's a 19.
There we go. Excellent. You throw yourself down this hallway, and you can see there's another intersection coming up where he's probably going to try to lose you again. You don't think you can catch up to him before he manages to slip down one way or the other when you see you pull out the knife, spin it in your hand, and throw it down to his calf. And the camera zooms down with it, sort of slow-mo style, as it slams into the back of his calf, and he falls down to one knee and lets out fine, and just sort of spins on his other knee over in your direction. He still has his pistol drawn, that old Durandal, I call it a CY 630 or something like that. He doesn't immediately point it at you, but he has it. He's clutching at his leg. He's not seething in anger, but he's not happy. And with that, we will smash cut out of the building, a lot happening all at once, to where we see the majestic alabaster gleaming throne. Starblood.
Yeah.
You have a general idea of where they are on the third floor. And by general idea, you mean in this quadrant. Because again, single signal source. You need multiple signals to be able to triangulate. You're not really part of GPS. So you know he's in this direction, somewhere between 100 and 500 feet away. Something like that. What is your plan, first of all?
Well, I think my first question is, do I think that I can punch through this hall?
do you have anything in your loadout that would make that easier? Knowing again that this is a structure built from starship grade material. It's been attacked. It's also been 7 years of repair. You might be able to find a weakness. You have a way to identify, find, and exploit a weakness.
Give me one moment.
The base answer would be yes over time. It's the question of how much time it will take for you to simply punch through the hole.
Okay. So I don't think that I have a skill that would work particularly well here. I would maybe try to argue that I maybe show off, but I don't think that that really fits for this.
No.
But what I would like to posit is, so punching would probably take some time, which makes perfect sense considering everything. However, I do have a weapon that specifically does explosive damage and knockback. If I were to fire a stub cannon blast at point blank range, maybe I'd be able to break it open a little quicker.
Okay.
Granted, there would be a lot more collateral damage.
Yes.
But
so
I don't think that Tavik's worried about them.
That is the next question, of course. You know vaguely where he is. How close do you want to be, and how much do you care about whoever else may be in this area?
Well, I would prefer that Solitaire not be caught in the blast. Beyond that,
Solitaire would prefer that as well. Just
well, see, we're on the same page. Beyond that, as far as Solitaire is concerned, the only people we know are people trying to stop us. We're here to complete our mission. Let's make it happen.
I would just point out again information that Starblood might have that you don't immediately pull up. You do know that there are hostages in this building.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
People who exist at this moment with a primary function of stopping us from completing our mission, yes.
All right, sure. Okay, so you're specifically not going close enough to risk catching Solitaire in the blast.
Correct.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So you can definitely use your stub cannon. That has the limited quality, right?
It does. I have 6 rounds.
You have all 6 rounds. Awesome.
I do.
When does that recharge? That's per rest, right? Because I know you've used.
I believe it's per rest. I don't remember using it.
You used it once in orbit because I know you were flashy shooting at the defense cannon.
You're correct. You're correct. I'm so sorry. Yes.
I thought you used it again against one of the V-17s.
I don't think so. I think for that it was just Yeah, maybe, most of what I did in that combat was dropping bombs on other things because everyone else took out.
I know I hacked you at some point and made you take a shot on somebody, but I don't remember if it was the stub cannon or not.
No, it was the shotgun, I'm fairly certain.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 4 or 5, it's academic at this point. Yes. Firing point blank with a stub cannon, which is a weapon with knockback, and quite powerful for what it is. Yeah. You can do that. I am going to... Let's see. I think baseline I would give this +1 difficulty because it's Starship Hull, but because you're doing it this way, I'm going to cancel that out with +1 accuracy. So that's a flat roll there. Because we're going to keep this narrative. I don't want to really drop into mech combat for like actual attack rolls and HP of structures and whatnot. So let's go ahead and just make this a flat risky check. Because there are definite consequences to this, even if you succeed.
Okay. It's not CQB, so I wouldn't be able to get accuracy from handshake etiquette. Okay, cool. So it's just flat, risky roll.
Yep. Gotta beat a 10 to succeed. Even then, with complications, only a 20 or higher is a full success without complication.
That is a 10 on the dot.
Okay. You just got it.
So he sort of like settles in, having scrambled across the top of the building. And there's a moment where at first the like fingers of Throne try to like push against the hull itself, but after a moment it almost like aggressively like jerks back to create just a little bit of distance, and then there is that what I assume would be familiar to the rest of the squad who can hear it, sound of the stub cannon sort of charging up. Solitaire, in your ear, I assume we're all still connected on comms, right? That didn't go down.
Correct. The only one off of comms at this moment,
Blacksmith, right? He's took off his helmet.
Yeah,
Is that
I
what it
believe
was?
That's the case. Yeah.
Well, I had put my helmet back on. I would say within the fiction,
Right.
though, it wouldn't have sense they would have torn my helmet off just to punch me in the face.
Yeah.
Then yeah, Solitaire, you'll hear Solitaire, find cover now. And there is like a 5-second countdown. 4, 2, 1. And then he fires off the stub cannon at the hull.
All right. This stub cannon is in the chest of your mech.
Yes,
right?
yes. So the chest compartment sort of separates, and there is a what's the word? Convenient breeze that goes by that pushes the scarf off to the side, and then it just fires off the shell.
All right.
And
Very G
the
Gundam
whole
of you.
thing. Oh, thank you. the whole of Throne sort of rocks in place as it does. And if it's okay with you, there are small like divots in the roof of the floor beneath him, where the heels of Throne kind of like pressed against the hull.
Definitely. All right. So, you get that over comms, Solitaire. Before we resolve exactly how that happens, you do hear that. Take cover. Now, in a quick countdown. You're in a hallway. There's some benches along the side. A potted plant over there. There's doorways that might open to you. It depends on if, they require some sort of access, whatever that may mean. Do you try to take any cover, knowing that if you do, it may lead to an opening for the Commodore to try to get away again?
So, I hear that. There's just going to be this out loud, oh shit. And I'm going to try to make a dive for the Commodore and try to pull him behind like a bench or something.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for that because that's awesome. You dive for the Commodore, closing the distance quickly. He raises the pistol in your direction. I think there is a split. Do you say anything, or are you just diving for him?
I mean, there was that initial exclamation of, oh shit.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah,
And
I think
probably just something like, look out.
All right. Yeah, I think even despite that, there's something he can read on your face, and he hesitates long enough for you to sort of bat the weapon aside and kind of just tumble the two of you back behind one of these benches here in the hallway. I wouldn't call it much cover, but you are technically behind something. Though, of course,
Yeah.
you don't know where this blast is going to come from, so who knows?
Not a clue.
Yep. And then you hear this explosion It's muffled. It's from the outside. It's just... It is muffled. You don't see any walls or debris immediately shoot out down the hallway. And then again... And at this point, the Commodore, I think, understands what is going on. Fucking Lancers. The hell are you guys doing? And at this point, you do see some debris and some dust sort of spray out down the hallway. Quite down the hallway.
Well, if I had to guess, I think he's trying to make a whole new doorway into your house.
Call him off.
You tell yours to stand down.
I would, but I don't believe I can. Now, we can have that fuck. We can continue that conversation. I will even concede that it's very likely I'm going to have to go with you. But I have some conditions, and I want to finish our conversation.
Fine. Starblood,
Yes, Solitaire.
hold off for a second, would you? I'm doing some negotiating.
I think I can do that. Don't take too long.
I assume you say that as we see this large mech hand just sort of reach a few fingers inside and scoop some of the wall out.
Yes, absolutely. It's so one has like reached in, the other is gripping the side of the like broken metal hull and is trying to pry, or was about to start trying to pry it open.
Imagine hearing that screech of metal just...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and debris is just getting swept out and flung behind him at what is, as far as he knows, is a still active threat.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Oh,
he
that was
doesn't
my
consider
favorite
them a
ficus.
threat. But...
Real quick though, can I point out that the person that started Operation Kool-Aid was Starblood?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Sure
Yeah.
was.
You're welcome.
And as we see that section of the wall crumble away, I think we again fly down the hallway back to Blacksmith. You've definitely heard this. And five explosions off, really not terribly far from where you were either, kind of equidistant between where you were and where Solitaire is now. These 5 big explosions. Guards are definitely on edge at this point.
Just out of curiosity, is there anything important up there? Like, at all? Because it sounds like, my ally's going to be using that for a door.
We have orders. Doesn't change anything as far as we're concerned.
Okay. Well, you see, that's unfortunate because do you know what it's like to get smacked by a mech? I'm just telling you, the hallways aren't very big. He's going to be stomping around. And I really, really hate to see you all turn into like little, paste, basically. I'm broadcasting my location. Just out of curiosity, do you guys have those nifty computers on the inside of your suits, or no? Oh, you don't.
It's a small building, small hallway. They paste us, they paste you.
You think I give a shit?
Commodore, come in. Commodore.
Oh no! Oh no! I think my friend Byte hacked your communications. Oh, hang on. Let me check real. Can I put my helmet on real quick? Look, and I'm going to take the gun and put it like on the floor next to me. Look, literally just want to make I'm going to ask a quick question.
There is an initial don't you, and then you lower the gun. Go on.
Let me just get verification real quick, and I'm gonna
No
put the
funny
helmet on.
business.
And I'm literally gonna like open the front of the helmet so that way they can just see that I'm talking. Hey, Bite.
Where the fuck are you? They're
Uh,
still swiping cameras.
Yeah. You know, we're having a little bit of a meeting here in the boardroom, but they just tried to call their boss, and it didn't seem like it's working so well. Now, just to confirm, you did that, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're blacked out from
Oh.
sky to the ground.
Okay, yeah. Oh man, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Also, that's Solitaire went after their boss, and you know how ruthless he is. So
I'm rooting for him too. Yeah, no, that's gonna be a
yeah.
problem.
All right, get to the point, man.
Okay,
Have
just
fun.
want to now. I just want to make sure. Starblood's on the roof coming in, right? Y'all have my location.
To be fair,
hey-
you don't. You
Oh,
are
no,
you
no,
are
no,
you are tracking Solitaire's.
I am
Yeah.
bluffing through my
Yeah.
teeth right now.
You have Solitaire's vague location. You have no idea where Blacksmith is. You
Look,
are only now
okay, look.
learning that they are not together.
Yeah, I know I'm trying to be clever in what information I'm giving away. Okay, look. Now I think we can all come to an arrangement where Throne doesn't come stomping down this particular hallway, right? Just as long as everybody's cool and I don't get shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Okay, I think we're cool, and we're just gonna hang out here for the time being, right? Nobody's gonna leave this room.
All right,
Yeah.
take a seat.
All right.
And
All right,
wave the
Blacksmith
gun
out.
over
I'm
to
just
a
gonna.
seat.
It's just one of those. I'm literally just gonna collapse like onto the ground, just be like, shit. You guys don't punch for shit, but there's a lot of you.
You are really asking for it.
Yeah. I know. My mom said the same thing.
Solitaire. Yeah, you're all dealing with very disjointed communication right now. Very disjointed knowledge and communication. I love complete party splits. All right, Solitaire. All right. Now, would you kindly get off of me?
Reach over and put my hand on his gun. I'll take this with me.
No, you won't.
Well, then I suppose I'll sit right here. You want to talk?
He doesn't let go, but he sort of puts it down on the floor, sort of leaning on it. He's not going to give it to you, but he'll move it far enough away that it's not an immediate threat.
And I'll sit back a little bit then.
You are certainly not Navy.
Nope.
It's a shame. Hawkwood could do a lot. Members like you. I'll save my breath. I know you don't want to hear the pitch, which is unfortunate. As I think, like most Lancers out there, you'd be better appreciated elsewhere. But we're beyond that at this point. You didn't have much, but you used it, I don't want to say well, but chaotically enough, and it worked. So I will concede to you this. It is very likely that I will have to leave with you, but I have my conditions. One is this conversation, and a friend I would like you to meet. an unarmed friend I would like you to meet. Again, there is much we could discuss if we could actually behave with some level of civility. So we finish this conversation. I've not heard otherwise, but I can assume, since your friend is not in tow, that we have exchanged each other in this gambit. May find some use for him. We finish this conversation. And if at the end of it, still want me to come back with you, though I would prefer not to, I will. But I will not be restrained. I am no one's prisoner.
Here's my conditions. You call off your orbital defenses and your land-based defenses and such so that I can have a shuttle come on down. Because eventually I'm getting out of here one way or another, and that's how I'm going to do it.
Reasonable.
2, we sit down like civilized folk, have our conversation. That's perfectly fine. But you have to understand that the final word is not mine. So if they say you're coming, you're coming.
Who's in charge of this operation, then? Who should I be talking to, if not you?
Well, we can hopefully put you in contact. But that's assuming that I don't stab you with anything else and you try not to shoot me with that there pistol you got.
I'll try to restrain myself.
I certainly appreciate it, and I won't punch you in your face.
See, now that is very Navy. Being so rigidly unable to operate outside of very limited, outdated, and narrow-minded perspectives.
I absolutely disagree. Because generally, you talk about how chaotic all this was, and I can't argue with that. But it's still an operation. It is an organized sort of chaos, I suppose you could say. And if everybody just does whatever the hell they feel like at any given time, that's just pure anarchy, and that don't accomplish nothing. So yeah, there's someone in charge, and it ain't me. I got my part, I'm doing my part. Now, if you want some real talk, I get him to come in here without blowing all this place up. But you got to call off your people, and I'll call off mine. We'll have ourselves a little parlay.
That's all I wanted from the start. To that note, however, it would expedite matters if you could resolve our communications blackout.
Solitaire to bite.
Hey, howdy.
Did you collapse these folks' communication network?
I can tell you if you can give me a frickin' location. Where are you in this building? I'm looking at like 1,000 different cameras.
I'm about 20 feet from Throne's left hand.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no, I did that. Why, what's up?
Okay. Well, the Commodore here has graciously agreed that we could have a little parlay with whoever's in charge of this particular, and this is on an open channel, this particular operation. And but to do that, we need to have him call off all of his folks and defenses and such so that we can have a shuttle brought down as well. He has agreed to all of this on the condition that he not shoot me and I don't punch him in his face. But to do that, he needs to be able to talk to his folks. So would you mind lifting that there communications blackout for a minute so he can give the order to stand down and treat everybody like the nice, gentle folk we are.
Mhm. Hey Jack, do I think I can open communications in just one direction so only he can speak out but nobody else can communicate with each other? Can I be
Uh,
very purposeful in letting only him communicate to everybody?
Let me scroll up this log here. I don't remember exactly what you got for this check.
Oh my god, Penny is being amazing right now.
I do believe, actually, it was this 26 that you rolled.
Yeah, no, it was a good one.
It was a real good one. Normally, I would say no, because normally you would just be scrambling communications. But with something like that, especially relaying, as we mentioned at the end of last episode, relaying that communication through the support team and getting the actual communication codes for this facility from Lich previously, you have actually managed to hack into their communications themselves and just redirect and shut them down from within. So, yes, you can do that.
Sweet. Then yeah, I'll respond back with a yeah, no, he can feel free to say as much as he'd like, but nobody's gonna be able to talk back. So I hope he doesn't expect a round of applause.
At Commodore, my associate has given you a channel to broadcast. You are free to speak to your people. Say whatever you like, but just think about it before you say it.
Very well. Defense team, this is the Commodore. Everyone stand down and hold position. Ready action, standby. Await further instructions. It's the best I can give you at the moment. A ceasefire.
Y'all catch that?
Got it.
I think we can work with that.
Desperado, you see outside in this melee, and again, all of this is happening at once. It has been 10 minutes since we started the episode in-game. You can see this brawl in front of you just immediately relaxes. In relief. In fact, you think you even see a few of these people just break down in tears.
See? Told you.
Well, Commodore, you want me to do something about that leg with the knife sticking out of it?
I'll manage. He reaches down. Spins the handle back to you.
Wipe it off. All right. Let me help you up. We'll make our way out. We can have a little word.
You offer your hand down, and he shakily stands himself up on his own. He'll
I
put his
appreciate the grit.
pistol in the holster, but again, he won't let go of the grip. So, am I having this conversation with you or someone else? 'Cause
I believe they're
prefer
going
not
to meet us
repeat myself.
outside.
Sorry, what did you say?
They'll meet us outside.
No. As I said,
What, you got something against the fresh open air?
we have somebody to visit. Somebody who
Yeah,
is not
again,
keen on
what do
being
you-
outside.
Not keen on being outside. But
They're a bit of a recluse.
They here in the building?
They are.
All right. Well, let's say we go down to your foyer and we'll meet the rest of my fellas there just as soon as our the rest of our team gets here. I'm broadcasting this simultaneously as I'm talking.
The rest of your team has not seemed as eager to act as civilized folk. It seems we have established some sort of rapport. Now you say there is someone in charge, and I will speak with them if you would prefer. But I'd rather not turn this into a whole cosmic circus.
No, I absolutely agree. I think my team will come in with us. Just a handful. While our backup and my ride out of here waits outside.
Blacksmith will remain a guest in our custody until we resolve this situation. Invite a small group of whoever else you deem important to this conversation. I admit I don't have much leverage, or at least not leverage that you actually care about, which is surprising. So the question is, do I have enough?
Well, let's go and maybe check on Blacksmith and your folks and make sure that he hasn't killed them all yet. And then if he's willing, then I am too. Does that sound reasonable enough?
Details 1A and B. Is our guest secured?
I have not allowed anyone to speak back.
Well, either they're all dead.
Come on, Commodore. We just walked down the hall. We didn't run that far. Find you a wheelchair if you want.
Pushes forward. March down the hallway as best as he can march on a open calf. And you walk past a hole in the wall with throne just outside. Down another corridor or two.
The hand just like slowly withdraws from inside.
Until you get back to the boardroom you were in before. You see the three that were originally taken out have sort of gotten themselves back up. One of them is sort of rubbing their throat, coughing a bit. Blacksmith is sitting down on the floor. I wouldn't say slumped, but definitely sitting down on the floor, and the rest of them are either sitting in chairs or leaning up against the wall or the table that is askew off to one side. Everyone has their weapons in range on person, but not necessarily pointed at anyone.
Hey, Blacksmith, how you doing in here?
Fine. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. They hit. I mean, honestly, Starblood hits harder. So, he's afraid of ruin those perfect nails that he's got.
Manicure's expensive.
Yeah.
Commodore here has
comms, by the way, or is
oh
this just,
yeah.
like, face-to-face?
Oh yeah, no,
Is it on
absolutely.
Yeah.
Commodore
the less
here
punching
has
I have to do, the less I'll have to spend on them.
the Commodore here he got somebody he wants us to meet. And he's asked that you would stay behind with his fellas here.
I mean, if I've got a chance to sit on my ass for a change, yeah, I'll take that. Besides, we're all friends. I'm gonna like smile. You'll notice that they're like, I don't think I'm missing a tooth yet, but them definitely got like bloody teeth right now.
I'm sorry, do I underestimate our position? Is there a reason that we need to leave one of our squad in...
But Starblood, shit's gone sideways since we got here. I think we got a chance. I think we have a chance at de-escalating this. So I'm gonna sit on my ass and maybe play some cards.
I already tried that. They're not very keen on it, I'll be honest. But good luck.
Eh,
Folks, this has altered the situation a little bit. This is not currently an armed engagement. This is a negotiation to see how things are going to go in the very near future. Starblood, I'd appreciate your presence as you are the ranking officer at the moment.
I can make that happen.
You guys got this. I'll sit tight.
And there's a moment before there's that like hissing as the back portion of the cockpit sort of slides open. And Starblood will exit throne, then closes back up, and is going to carefully make his way down the shoulder and across the arm, which is left sort of like a platform in case they need to exit the way that he came in.
Bite will guide you, I guess, via cameras. Once I got a lock, I would like to try to stay on top of wherever Solitaire goes and keep a close eye on Blacksmith.
Mm-hmm. At this point, yes, you have identified the cameras. Keep an eye on everybody.
Starblood gets in, and there's a moment where he sort of wipes his boots against the floor after the first time he steps on a bunch of debris, and then sighs as he realizes there's no way to avoid it. Tugs down on the sleeves of his suit, which are almost completely irrelevantly tight, and then sort of brush off whatever debris is in the air. He goes for a moment to press a release on his helmet, not to take off the helmet, but to make the front plate opaque, and then decides against it, and will begin to make his way, being guided by Bite, towards Solitaire.
And then I'm going to sub-vocalize, make sure our exfiltration is on its way down so that we can get out of here, potentially with the Commodore in a hurry.
Is that something that Bite can organize from the outside?
Yeah, you can do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I imagine because we have the working comms, everyone would have access to like whatever connection there still is to the support squad, right? It's
Yeah.
not like it has to be relayed through Stargate.
No, yeah, you guys are all on Operation Comms. Yeah. Which can extend up to or 12,000 years in the future. Yeah, it can extend up to high orbit.
Love that.
So you give a look over to the Commodore, lets out a light sigh. As far as I am aware, I cannot receive any replies, but do put our defense grid on standby. There will be a transport touching down nearby. Orbital and aerial defense teams allowed access. I can only assume they'll comply.
Well, I suppose that's all anyone can do.
So, Bite, you can coordinate with Hajiri and with the actual Union pilot up in orbit in this transport ship of yours to guide them down. They did retreat back behind the moon, so it'll take them a little bit to get down, and by a little bit I mean maybe an hour, maybe half an hour, really.
Okay, so I'll relay that to the boys inside. Just play nice for like half an hour. We'll have them here soon.
Noted.
Commodore Riley, can I introduce you to Starblood? He is the commanding officer of this particular forward operation. Starblood, Commodore Newton Riley, head of the... I'm sorry, my brain must be glitching a little bit. What was the name of your operation? Hawkmoth?
This is
right?
This is the first forward detachment of the Hawkwood Company.
Hawkwood. There we go.
Yes, whatever term the remnants of SecCom are choosing to use now. Understood.
You see he was actually letting go of the grip of his pistol to reach for a handshake, and then his hands clench again and go back to his
What
grip.
did I just tell you? What did I just... Never mind. I'm going... Fight cuts out communication.
Union folks,
Starblood is...
and yet not quite.
Commodore here has someone he'd
if I-
like us to meet.
If I could interrupt you, Starblood, do you have anything immediately Harrison on your person?
On my person, no.
Okay.
If I was in casuals, maybe, but no, nothing on the uniform.
Okay.
Outward.
Not even an ugly purple cape.
No, not even an ugly purple. He's not a Power Ranger. He's not Super Sentai.
Yep.
I do think after a moment though, he will reach back and press the touch pad on the back of the helmet, which will render the visor transparent, which will leave him face to face. Whether or not he would recognize the like significantly younger face of what would otherwise be a familiar face, I don't know, but it's there. There's the strip of like purple lipstick that just goes down the center of his lip. The hair color is wrong.
I don't have my dice with me. Normally, the GM does not roll much in the way of anything outside of combat, but I want to check something here. Okay. You can see as the visor goes transparent, he does look at you, and there's a beat. He squints his eyes, tilts his head a little bit, stands up a little bit straighter, lifts his chin a little bit. Not high enough to be I'm looking down on you, but that sort of high enough that there's something there. Starblood, is it? You're in command of this operation, then?
I am currently the ranking officer on the ground. Yeah.
Ranking officers for Lancet pilots. How the mighty have fallen.
Indeed, Commodore.
I would prefer not to do this in a hallway.
Well, as I understand it, you have somewhere you're taking us, yes?
We should discuss some things first. This way.
Lead the way.
He turns and actually walks not far, it just turns the corner and walks down a little bit before you get to another boardroom not dissimilar to the one that you just left Blacksmith in. A lot of redundancy in this building. Useful. I'll give it that. Sit down, we'll try this once more. Sits back, now without his entourage of flanking guards. He doesn't slump in his chair, but there is... he's not necessarily holding himself up with the pomp and bravado that he had before.
But as for contrast, Starblood absolutely is.
Mm.
Just straight as a board, hands folded behind his back. He hasn't sat down yet.
Okay. Where have manners gone? Very well.
Sit down.
Union. Setcom, as you put it. Third com, I presume. Matters little to me. For that matter, Harrison matters little to me. There is far more of us, and much more out beyond this little bubble that Union thinks encompasses the entire Orion arm. A vast majority of worlds, peoples, whatever else may be beyond, out there in the actual diaspora. And that is where all of this has been born. The Hulkwood. This operation. Union was in shambles. I don't remember much of it. I was quite young. Which is saying something, considering it's been, 500 years or more? It was a mess. It was in ruin. We were fighting each other for problems we created in our own minds. Fracturing in far too many ways. We chose, I say we, some of us, though the Hawkwood is much more, chose not to follow Harrison. Looks over and looks pointedly at Starblood as he punctuates Harrison. We decided to venture out, as our forefathers had millennia ago. We've seen other cultures out there thrive. Thrive well enough to stick it to Union and cause much of the bickering that tore it apart. The Onyx, the Karakin. And unless things have changed, not many may have been privy to it. But the few important enough to know that there are wonders far beyond the spread of human life across the stars. And that is what brings us back here. Something from beyond the stars. From beyond what we know. Tearing the diaspora apart. and if it were that simple. So that is what we are doing here.
Commodore, are you telling us that what you are doing here, what you have done here, is the result of some other presence elsewhere that ruined anything else you attempted to accomplish?
I have
That
seen
drove you
fleets ripped apart, floating in the nothingness. I have seen planets with populations in the thousands reduced to ghost towns. I have seen hulks of nothing but one insane survivor. And so, I am not too big of a man to admit that we strategically relocated back inward. And when we
Crept away and
found...
cowered with slaves?
There is nothing cowardly about identifying and utilizing a resource.
That aside for the moment, if we could. I'm
Proceed.
curious, do you have anything, recordings, proof of what you're saying right now? Because you're alluding to some massive threat out there, but you're not giving us a whole lot in the way of details.
Like I said, I have someone you should meet. In fact, scratch that. That's Jack, not the Commodore. I have someone you should meet. But yes, we retreated back inward. We weren't sure how far Union has pushed beyond its boundaries, and it really hasn't. This being about as far out, as far as I understand, that there is even the slightest bit motioning at the two of you of Union presence in the area. In fact, when we first arrived, we were not aware that this was even a Union facility, if you could even call it that. This was a resource. And we can have academic discussions as to how we implemented our strategic takeover and how we utilized these resources, but at this point, they're not important to this conversation. I'm sure I will have to talk with plenty of people about that when we reach wherever it is you plan on taking me. We do things differently. We do them well, we do them effectively, and we do what needs to be done. Because if what is out there comes here, I don't see this Union faring any better than those who left before. Not unless we work together. I don't mean you and me. I don't even necessarily mean Union and the Hawkwood. Unless there is anything more. It's the best preface I can give you. I'm not sure you're going to get anything more coherent out of our esteemed guest. But he said this was coming. He shrugs and pushes himself up out of the seat. Makes for the door.
Same.
Leads you down a hallway. Walks past an elevator, looks at it, and leads you over to a stairwell or a ladder well. Makes his way down to the second floor. Proceeds to take you through a series of winding corridors. Outside, because it has been a bit, are you two, Desperado, Bite, doing anything?
Yes. I would like to escort the people back to the shantytown.
Okay. Okay. Bite, you staying put? Keeping eyes and ears open, or are you going with Desperado? I mean, I guess you could do both, but
I could theoretically do both. How far in distance? Like, how long, if I was to need to go there full throttle, how long would it take me to get to Shantytown?
I mean, full throttle, distance and hex size being very wibbly wobbly in Lancer.
Yeah.
I'm at a few minutes, pushing it.
Okay.
Not terribly far. Again, you're in two-story tall mechs.
Yeah. Then I think Bite's a little more concerned and knows they can be a little more helpful right next to the big building with all of the tech in it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'll be fine.
Stay on comms.
I got you. No worries.
Sorry, I'm nervous. Yeah.
How are you communicating this to this? I'm reluctant to call them a team anymore. This mass of sprawling, whimpering, exhausted, feuding individuals on the ground who are at their wits' end.
Okay. I will get out. Nah, fuck it. We'll just keep it with the speaker.
All right.
Okay. For those of you that are still standing and uninjured, grab a buddy. We're going to take a little trip over the shanty.
There is a whole gamut of emotions that run across their faces. From just blank stares, to disbelief, to worry, to excitement, back to fear, back to excitement. They do slowly start to stand up, look in your direction. It looks like a few of them might be trying to say something. You don't really have external sound inputs.
Like, open up. What?
We knew there were workers out here. You know where they are. You know how there's a shanty town.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been there? How are our people?
Not yet. I haven't been yet. You want me to check on them first?
We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's happening inside.
Okay.
They have. We all have people here. If not here, then out in the workforce.
Okay.
We've complied because we have
to. It's quiet in there. Right. It's quiet in there. So.
For now.
If you. Sure, but everything's for now.
Yeah,
Do you want me to go
when
and check
For
the
Now
shanty town?
ends, people die, and it's usually us.
I think like he's got the thing open so he can hear them. But the mech taps its different colored leg. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I get that. Okay. You stay here.
Sort of leans heavily on his knees that are just barely buckled and is just trying not to hyperventilate.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look at me. All right. This is one of those moments, right? Where everything is sort of looking like it's going to swallow you whole.
We've been swallowed for damn near a decade. We're just
Yeah.
trying not to go through the digestion.
Okay. Well, hey, you've been given armor and a gun.
Yeah. That's not nothing. But there's
Exactly.
a lot more of them in there than there are of us.
Yeah. But there's a lot more of you all around, are there not?
We heard there might be a resistance.
Okay.
We don't hear a lot. Some of us are taken out every few months. We hear from them that there are workers.
Okay, let's go check on them. The people in there will be fine. You got my crew looking out for them. We need to make sure the rest of everyone else is okay.
The one they've been brawling tries to push away. Don't trust this, and then one of them just decks him in the face. I'll go with you.
Okay.
I can't ask that of anyone else. A couple more of them.
Nor would I expect you to.
A couple more of them sort of look over and give him a nod, but the majority are either dealing with this guy and the few others who are kind of sort of maybe on his line of thinking, or otherwise just out of it.
Right. Do I have like a med kit or something I can give them?
No, not really. I think the closest thing in Lancer are there's stimulant gear that you can pick, but I don't think there's really any sort of med kit or health regeneration.
Mostly just to stabilize the people that got fucking blasted. But that's fine.
In this particular squad, everyone's pretty much okay. Is the other squad back there. At this point, you've walked around the side of the building to meet this other squad. But you could go back there. You could go back there and just do like simple Star Trek field triage and rip off part of your sleeve. But that's about what you got.
Sure.
Okay.
But then I'll go. Yeah, from there I'll go and we're gonna check out the shantytown.
All right. You pick up a few more stragglers from that group. The ones who are not injured to the point of immobility, because you did a number on them. But you can wrap wounds and make tourniquets where you need to, and start stomping your way over to the shantytown. We'll get there in a bit, because it is a bit of a trek, especially with people not into story tall mechs that are trying to keep up with you.
Hold on. Let me look. There like a little cart or like a lift or something. I can just put them on and just
Yeah,
push
you
it
know
with
what?
me.
If we go back to
There are some
this,
vehicles
yeah,
that
there's yep,
we didn't destroy.
there we are.
Yes, do that.
Yeah. So there's some vehicles over here off to the side of our map.
Bet. Yeah. I'll just put them in there, and then we'll just head that way.
All right. So while you guys are making your way over to the shantytown here, and I'll briefly move Starblood Solitaire and the Commodore out of the way, you guys can make your way over from the main HQ over to this little shantytown here, and we'll get to that. Back up in the original boardroom, at the risk of further escalation or potential attempts at escalation, I will say, actually, at this point, they're kind of all kicked back in their chairs or leaning against the wall or whatnot. Tensions have come down a bit. Now that you're sitting down, your weapon isn't drawn. One of them reaches into their jacket and pulls out a little flask and unscrews it and throws some back and motions it over in your direction.
Probably hope I wasn't muted, huh? I'll take it. Take a swig. Nod. Give it
Pulls
back.
it back up and throw it in your direction. You can take a swig and throw it back. I think there's just a light sigh, and that sort of just him looking at you, you looking at the other guy, that other guy looking at the other guy, and just back and forth for a bit. Unless there is anything in particular you would like to add.
So, what do you guys do for fun around here?
There's a rec center in the building. There's a garden. It's a blasted rock here.
Yeah, it seems
Put
like a real
together
fun place
decent
to.
building.
It seems like a really fun place to have an outpost.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they brought enough amenities. Beats being on a ship for 3 years. 30 years. He would say 30 years. Beats being on a ship for 30 years.
I mean, I guess God, the weather on your planet sucks. I hope you know that. Like, it's so bad.
I don't claim this fucking rock.
Oh, really? Is that not what you guys? Is not what you did? Is that not what you guys did here?
All right, cool it.
Hey, you said it, not me. I'm literally just gonna shoot the shit with him. I'm not gonna do any nothing serious. It's just mostly just gonna poke fun at him wherever I can.
You know, I actually have a cousin who pilots around one of these fancy. Camera will zoom down the hallway as he starts talking about somebody he knows who calls himself a Lancer. Solitaire. Starblood. You and the Commodore make your way down these hallways. There's you get to a point on the second floor where there's a fork that sort of curves off to either side. You can see down one side there is floor to ceiling heavy chain link fence with reinforced railings, latches. There's a squad of people there. Not in necessarily tactical gear, but again in local security gear. 2 people on the outside, 4 people on the inside. You can hear the sound of foot traffic and conversation off down the curve of the hallway, but you don't see anyone. Beyond that fence, it's a little dark. The lights don't seem to be kept up as well. It's a little dirty. You can see, there's scraps of paper or dust on the floor. Everything else in the building is well lit, very clean. Very DS9 occupation of Terok Nor Bajoran sector.
Starblood shoots a very quick glance over in Solitaire's direction. That sort of knowing, questioning, almost like micro eyebrow raise.
Buddy takes you down the other side of the fork as you turn away from the security checkpoint. Meander your way down a residential section of the arcology. And you get to a point. It's not at the center of the arcology, because actually the center of the arcology, from at least Solitaire knows from being on the ground floor, the center of the arcology actually contains a garden that does flow up into the second floor. So not the center of the arcology, but also not, near an external wall. About as interior to the structure of the building as you can get. The Commodore takes you to a room. You can see on your way going down there that this is a residential section. You do actually see a few people moving around. People who are not in security gear. They seem concerned, especially when they see the Commodore hobbling on an actively bleeding leg. But you don't know if they're not. They don't look like pirates. They're not in security gear. They're not in combat gear. They're just people going about their lives. Because again, this is an arcology that could potentially house 10,000 plus people going about their lives as if they were living on any other planet. It's all been folded inward into this one building. So you walk down these neighborhoods that have people living in them. You see signs on the door for various residences. You see call boxes. They probably even have an area for physical mail. You go past a few shops that are open, a few little restaurants that have been set up, a few little knick-knack shops, or a very again, another Star Trek reference, a very Replomat area where you can go and get various things fabricated, small-scale things fabricated. And you see the crowd of people. It's not a huge crowd, but there are people moving about. They move out of your way as you pass through. You can hear the hushed whispers of people trying to figure out what's going on, exclaiming about who you are, or spreading rumors about the attack that has been going on. You move past all of that, and you do get to a point where there are fewer and fewer people moving about, to the point where there is nobody moving about for several hallways that you go down. And you get to an area where you turn a corner, and this section, it goes down to basically a dead end, what would be a cul-de-sac if you're thinking about it in hallway form. But you can tell that the rug that spreads down the hallways that you've been on has not really been upkept. It's not terribly dirty. It doesn't look like it's been recently vacuumed. Sci-fi 12,000 years in the future version of being vacuumed. There are other rooms, other doorways down this dead-end hallway, but you don't see any nameplates on them. Turns down that, stands in front of a door. Turns back to you two. It may sound a tad cliché, melodramatic. Some of my people have taken to calling this individual the Oracle. As I said before, hulks floating through space with one lone, mad survivor. And this is he. We don't get much out of him. He told us of this world. In vague terms. Past theatrical storybook retellings of what we eventually identified as constellations and planetary bodies, nebulae, to a planet where we would find what we need. And, presumably, this that is happening now.
No logs on the scrap you found him on?
No. Not logs. He'll show you. Leans forward and presses the call button on the door, and whoosh. Inside, it is dark. It smells bad. It smells like an unwashed hermit who has been living on his own, largely uncared for. Maybe not uncared for, but not well kept.
Does my helmet filter out smells?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe you have made up in the fiction that you just turned it transparent as opposed to
I did, yes.
cracking the
Yeah,
seal
it
or
didn't
anything.
open, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you're full vac suited in.
Great. Yeah. Excellent.
But Solitaire, at the very least, it smells like a man cave that has not been not been properly fumigated for 7 years. It's dark inside. Commodore reaches in and moves against the wall until he feels some sort of switch or button and presses it, and a little emergency light comes in at the center of the room. Motions you inside.
There's a pause, like, do I really want to go in there? Hello? He steps forward into this
Our blood will be
lovely,
the last one
lovely place.
Okay. Commodore will look at you, Starblood, shake his head, and walk in after Solitaire. Lean up against the wall. Sort of nod in the direction of one of the corners of this room. And you do see some shuffling over there. Movement, as if somebody wrapped up in something has acknowledged your presence and has moved because of the commotion. There's not much in here at all. There is a bed, but there are no sheets, there are no pillows. There's no table. You can see there is a tray of food, which has not been touched, and a pitcher of water. Cup just in front of it has spilled over to the side, a little water seeping in with the food. But it's not gruel or emergency rations or anything. It's, a sandwich with a bag of chips or something. Sci-fi version of a lunch. And unless, I know Solitary, you did sort of announce your presence, but unless you say anything further, there's some rustling. It looks like whoever is there may have leaned forward a bit. It hasn't said anything. Hasn't moved otherwise.
Pause for a second, glance back at Starblood. Excuse me. Sorry for disturbing you, but Commodore,
You are not him.
said you might have.
You are not him. You're not him.
Not
Sure.
who?
The detested one. The one we mourn.
Can't say it rings a bell. I'm sorry.
Me and mine and his and yours and ours. Him. Stars can taste their blood. It's sweet.
Are you waiting for him?
Him. Yes.
Why?
Because he is.
Is
You
what?
know. You know. You can see whoever this is quickly shuffles on the floor, doesn't stand up, just shuffles on all fours quickly, several paces in your direction, Starblood.
Scarlet immediately takes a step back, and you can see his hand reach down to a folded item on his hip.
Hey.
You can see just peering into the beam of the emergency lighting, just barely lighting up the center of this room. You see this emaciated man on all fours. Looks like he can barely keep himself up. His head sort of shifted off to one side. The light shining down looks like he has the one eye you can make out looks milky white. Scruff all over his face of unkept, unwashed, unshaven beard. You can see it looks like he's wrapped himself up in whatever he could find in this room. You can see there's sheets and blankets. He might have a pillowcase that he's wrapped up around his head. He has bits of cardboard. He's clutching on to a little bit like a plastic tray that was there from one of his previous lunches or whatnot. He has one of those pitchers of water on his foot like a boot. He is there on his hands and knees, sort of looking up at you, eyes locked with Starblood.
Starblood is going to look over at the Commodore. What is this?
This is the Oracle, the lone mad survivor of the Hulk floating in space. This is the proof that I can give you. Proof! Yes, yes! Proof. I can show, feel, taste. Not him, not him, not him, not him, not him, not him. The other. There was another. There was another. There was another. With the... He throws himself at your legs, Solitaire. Not unlike I'm tackling you, probably wouldn't have the strength to. Just throws himself full body into your legs and just is like grabbing on to the back of your pants.
Hey there, buddy.
You have it, you can see, you can... He reaches
Starblood
his
immediately
hand up.
unclips the thing from his belt.
Just holding up that hand, like, stop.
He has one arm around the back of your leg, grasping on to whatever material is back behind your calf, and he is reaching his hand up slowly and shakily towards your face.
Where'd you come from? Are these folks holding you here?
Hold. 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 No hold. Have. But you don't. No. You can, but you won't. No, but I can.
Can what?
Have. He shakes his hand up in front of your face.
Okay. You can have it, buddy. Whatever it
These
is.
tendrils shoot out of his wrist and
Can I
connect into the side of your face.
Can I make a move quickly here? Can I respond
He's
to this?
real close. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't think I can get there in time to stop it from happening, but as soon as I see this happening, I'm immediately moving to both throw myself at this person, and the thing that Starblood has unclipped from his belt is a collapsible trench axe.
Okay.
So he's gonna sort of like snap it open as he moves, and he just wants to try and immediately like body check this guy and slice whatever these tendrils are between him and Solitaire.
Okay.
And just sort of like, if possible, sort of like pin him to the wall.
So, everyone's favorite phrase from a GM: a lot of stuff happens at once. Solitaire, are you doing anything, again, happening very quickly? He was already, like, right in your face. I'm not sure there's much you can do, but how would you respond?
Yeah, I don't feel like he's more surprised than anything. You know, it's just a matter of there is no way that Solitaire was expecting this guy to shoot out alien tendrils like some kind of hummingbird tongue.
To be fair, to correctly portray this, these aren't alien tendrils. In fact, you've probably heard of this technology before. Might not have seen them, but you've probably heard of them. There is, I believe it's created by SSC, this sort of this biomechanical melding. I believe it's one of the talents in the book that allows you to do this, actually, where you can extrude mechanical data
Oh, that's
cables
what it
from your
is.
wrist. So they're not like alien organic tendrils or anything. They're kind of like Borg wires.
So
He's
that's
Borging you.
actually an item, and Solitaire has that item. That's a subjectivity enhancement suite.
It's almost like that's exactly what he's doing.
Oh shit! Okay, we're gonna download some stuff.
You know there's a little data port.
Yeah,
back
there's
on
a there's a
Yeah, that's where these
yep.
connect. You probably don't
Okay.
immediately notice because all you notice is there's this crazy guy with his hand in your face, and then he grabs your face, and you can. It's kind of a sensation. I assume you can feel the pressure of it going into that data port, and there's probably that very, sixth sense. We can't, as people without data ports in our head, feel the electrical connection of a connection taking place, but you do immediately feel that, and I think that's as much as you can get before
Okay. Yeah.
Starblood. You throw yourself into this melee. Do you have a skill talent that is going to help direct
Yeah,
this in any way?
absolutely. I would like to take control of this situation immediately right the fuck now.
Okay.
Immediately right the.
Yep.
Now, Starblood, I believe I'm correct here, but you do not have a subjectivity suite.
No,
Gotcha.
I have data plating, but I don't
Yes.
have like a no.
Excellent. Okay. I would like you... Yeah. I would like you to roll me a check with that skill talent, and I'm going to give you +1 accuracy because it's a frail, crazy guy. I shouldn't say crazy, there's probably a better word. But somebody who is not really there, fully present in the moment and the space.
Sure.
Mad.
I got a 7.
Okay. I was like, do I even need to make you roll for this? I guess it could go bad. And apparently it does.
Is there a way that I can roll it like risky?
Yeah, there is always the option to push if the GM allows, and my response will usually be, yeah, push it. So
Because as far as I'm concerned, like Starblood, all Starblood sees is this guy is grabbing one of what he considers his subordinates.
makes sense.
And trying to do who the fuck knows what that is. But it's not okay.
This will be a risky roll.
Do I keep the accurate?
You will still have your skill talent. You will still have your accurate. Yeah, it's just the same check. Just a higher DC.
Sure.
Ish. We know how Lancer works at this point.
That's a 17.
Okay. So you needed 20 to negate full consequences, but you succeed
Sure.
with complication. So, we see in a rapid flash montage of what is going on, this person reach up, grab Solitaire's face. We see the spark of a connection going into your data port, and we see Solitaire Starblood throw himself into this mass of people here, because he is actively clinging on and pressing his body into Solitaire. So you check this guy, you check Solitaire right on with him. But Starblood, you throw yourself into both of them, and the screen goes black, and we will be back in about 10 minutes or so. I know, Q just left. We were running a little late from break because I got real into this, but I think this is a great spot for us to hang on our break, and we will be back in about 10 minutes to resolve whatever this is going on. Yeah, as Lion puts it, so much nope. Stick around for the rest of the nope when we come back. Enjoy some tunes, maybe an ad. Go check out Veil the Void Reforged. I'll throw a link in the chat. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, folks. Welcome back to RPGs Uncovered for the continuation of the Starcrier Conflict. We're back with a whole lot of nopes where we left off.
So many.
I forget the exact phrasing, Solitaire, but this person, the Oracle, was going on about them having something, him having something, you having something, have, not hold, have, you don't, you can, I have. You said something along the line of, okay, you can have it.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, he latched his hand onto your face and shot these mechanical tendrils into the data port on the side of your face. And almost at the same time, just long enough that indeed those cables were able to connect, Starblood, you have thrown yourself from where you were standing, only a few feet away, into the massive bodies that is Solitaire and the Oracle, crumpled and wrapped around, now connected to the side of the neck of Solitaire. In a dark room, a room smelling of dust and moldy food and sweat and other such unwashed, unkept person. And I'm not sure either of you were paying much attention to the Commodore at this point. Strangely enough, with him being potentially the threat he is, being overwhelmed, or at least focused on the Oracle. That's not me being a nasty GM saying he ran away. No, the Commodore is there, standing there looking on at this in not wonder or disbelief, and really your characters wouldn't be able to get a read on this. You are crumbling to the ground at this point in a tangle of bodies. But the Commodore is there. He has not said anything, but you know he is still there. Our camera picks up with that very dim spotlight of emergency lighting in the center of this otherwise very Spartan, dirty living quarters that the Oracle has been living in, if you want to call it that. Presumably by his own volition, not, to make it clear, not mistreatment by those here. And we see exactly where we left off. Starblood, the stark white uniform of Starblood, actually now probably smudged with a bit of dirt and debris, which I'm sure is going to take some dry cleaning, throws himself at the knees of Solitaire and the clinging mass of mostly blanket that is the Oracle, and we see the three of them spin and tumble out of the emergency lighting of this room, and we hear the grunts and the bodies hitting the floor and the wall, tumbling and the scratching of fabric against fabric. Starblood, you did succeed with complication on a pushed risky roll. Three of you tumble to the ground. Starblood, you have this collapsible axe that has been assembled. You were attempting to cut the cables.
I was.
Okay.
Yes.
Which are connected to Solitaire's neck. No, I'm not going to decapitate or otherwise exsanguinate Solitaire.
Oh,
I
good.
don't think that would be fair to Sean. But I'm
Seems
going
a
to
bit
say
excessive.
you throw yourself down at the knees, trying to trying at once to pull the oracle off and to get the axe sort of between. I'd imagine you are trying to hook the curvature of the axe against the cables and pull, rather than swinging an axe head at your friend's throat. Well, friend may be an incorrect term, but
yeah, I was stretching it a little bit. But yeah, the plan was to initially to try and shove him away and sever in like 2 very rapid movements.
Yes.
And then like pin him against the wall. But
so you are a trained soldier. You are a trained fighter. You are physically and mentally conditioned quite well. This individual, the Oracle, is clearly not. At least not anymore. You don't know who he was previously. But you connect with this individual and you immediately feel he is a waif of a person. There is next to no mass on him, and he crumbles under your weight. You expected to have to push or pull or tear him off, and it is simply your touch and your weight that removes him so easily that it pushes you off balance. Because you were not expecting absolutely no resistance whatsoever. In fact, it feels like he just let it happen. You're not certain. Maybe he's just incredibly weak. Or he moved with you. Maybe even before you. But you push him away, and you are thrown off balance as you try to rip these cables out with the axe. You catch it with your wrist as you tumble and spin and land and plant the blade of the axe into the Oracle's chest. Solitaire, you go spinning off and slam into the wall. And we'll get to you in a second. Starblood, you tumble with the Oracle, and you are over top of him at this point. Caught yourself on one arm, and then you realize you're holding yourself up on the other arm with the handle of this axe, and it is buried into this individual. You push yourself up, and you can see the Oracle in the darkness, not being able to see much more than the few inches in front of you. You are nearly nose to nose. You can see the 2 milky white eyes of the Oracle looking directly into yours. It's good to be home again. He is holding your stare, his breath rapid and shallow. He probably does not have long to live, and he's probably in incredible pain, most likely, but he doesn't show it. There's almost a relief. Not a relief. Not pleasure. Not bodily pleasure. Contentment? It's hard to place. He doesn't seem like somebody who has an axe buried in his chest. He is staring directly at you.
I think everyone in the room can recognize the sort of tilted, heaving breaths of Starblood in this moment. Although the only one who can see his face could be the Oracle, which is even more of a pale white than it usually is. Mouth open, gasping quietly.
The Oracle reaches up. Let me pause here. I did check our safety sheet during the break. Teeth and mouth stuff coming up for anybody. He reaches up, puts his hand in his mouth, twists, and you can hear this crunch, and rips a tooth out. And feel free to stop me. shoves his hand, his bloody hand with this tooth, up in your gasping, gaping mouth.
I still have my helmet on.
You still have your helmet on, right? I keep thinking you like cracked your helmet, but it's just transparent.
No, yeah,
Right,
it's just
yeah.
transparent. Yeah.
So he actually still goes to do that, and you can see his hand hit the transparent glass. You can see it's not the canine or the one just past it that is just not quite a molar yet, and you can see the palm of his hand is bloody, and this tooth is just being pressed up against your visor.
Starblood makes no move to
collapses.
stop him. There's a moment of just quiet where I think the only sound in the room is Starblood's breathing. But I don't know how much of it makes it out of the helmet to Starblood. It's the loudest thing in the world right now is his breathing and the sound of his blood rushing through him. And then, after a moment, his shoulders slump a little bit. He puts a boot up on the corpse in front of him, and he's going to forcibly remove the axe with that wet squish.
Well, you see, I didn't say corpse just yet.
Oh.
You stand up and rip the axe out of this individual, and there is a... His eyes sort of flicker open. Still alive, just barely. Shallow breathing. The hand with the tooth in it just barely lifts up off the ground, shakily, like he's proffering it to you.
Starblood doesn't have particularly good vision at this moment with the blood over the mask, but he does sort of kneel down, and he will pick the tooth up.
He lunges at you with whatever... You don't know where he's found the strength to do this, from being as emaciated as he is, let alone now blood loss and a gaping wound. Lunges himself at you, and you went to go grab the tooth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you grab the tooth, and as he does, he wraps his arms around the back of your neck.
Starblood immediately just collapses. So he will, if he's reaching up, the oracle's gonna fall on top of him.
Okay. You sort of collapse
he just falls
and roll
backwards, and the axe goes scattering away from him. There's sort of a clanging as it goes across the floor. But he is just barely not on his back. One of his arms is slightly under him, but otherwise he is just supine, with the guy sort of grabbing his head.
He is over top of you on the floor.
On the
he is partially holding himself up off of the floor, so he is just, his nose is centimeters away from your faceplate, and blood dripping from his mouth, this shallow, rapid bleeding, presumably blood dripping from his chest wound down onto your white flight suit. And he is shaking and spitting and bleeding, and again locks eyes with you through your visor, which may or may not be transparent, but still locks eyes with you through the blood, through the composite, locks eyes with you. And you hear, you think you hear, you're not sure. It could be the shock. It could be reading lips. But you swear you hear him say, "It is an honor." Now collapses, his whole weight, what little of it there is, on top of you. Solitaire. The camera spins up and we see Solitaire sort of standing rigid, straight-backed, arms out to the side, slowly, quickly twitching for a brief second, really as all of this is happening. But you can only film so much at once. Your eyes have rolled back in the back of your head. There are sparks coming from your data port, which has been sort of torn a little bit. There's blood dripping down your neck, down into the crevice of your suit. Sparks flying off of it. You probably don't pick it up, but there's that faint smell of ozone and burnt hair. A little bit of metallic from blood, though that's probably mostly the Oracle. All of this happens in what both feels like an eternity and a blink for you, Solitaire. And to preface this, for an exterior reference, this is very Mass Effect 1 Prothean artifact vision right now, with a series of images and sounds and sensations flashing so quickly inside your brain. I would say in front of your eyes, but inside your brain. Flashes of sound and color and images and feelings. You hear the piercing wail of an infant. You feel the vastness of the galaxy. You smell the dust and the musk of a long sealed crypt. You see flashes of nebulae? Space gas, more likely. Black holes burning, dripping. Gases forming into geometric objects and sinking and rising and twirling and dissipating once again. You feel cold and warm at the same time. Not icy cold, not burning hot, but cold and warm at the same time. As if it was a cool drink on a hot summer's day, and at the same time, the warmth of a fireplace out in the snow. You feel like you forgot something. You feel like there's something very important that needs to be said. You feel pain that makes you excited. And you see explosions down across your body as pieces of starship hull are blasted apart. That doesn't make any sense. You see yourself in the darkness, sitting down, looking out at darkness. There's still stars. Not as many. There's still stars, but it's dark. It's absent. But it's home. Or it will be. It will be home. And you collapse. What more you might be able to get out of this, we'll see. Might have to track down Anasari. That might be difficult. Throwing myself out of the narrative because this got real tense. You collapse on the floor. You are currently, I hate taking agency away, or at least actionability in this case. You collapse. You are unconscious. You have been exposed to a very traumatic mental state. Starblood. You are underneath this bleeding waif of a person with a bloody tooth clasped in your hands, breathing heavily in shock and confusion. And last I heard, comms were open. The remaining 3 of you. Anything? In fact, pause for a second. Think how you would react. Because we do still need to check up on Desperado, who is making his way to the shantytown. And I think this would have happened during that time. So we will cut back, the camera zooming out through the hallway, down the way that we came, as if going back slightly in time. We see the large hulking mech of Desperado's mech approaching this shantytown. And it does look like that. It looks like a series of, well, almost cyberpunk slum put together sheet metal and plywood and whatever they could find. These stacked precarious, I hesitate to call them homes, but domiciles. You do see, however, on your approach, it's not. Let's actually bring that map up once more. Take Starblood and Solitaire and the Commodore out and bring Desperado to the foreground. And take a look at our map here. You do have to walk past 2 of these watchtower checkpoints.
Okay.
There are people in them. They don't bother you. They don't point weapons at you, but they do watch. You do make your way over to the shantytown over here. It's not walled. It's not even fenced off. You do pass by this pool, this pit of some sort of greenish, vaguely steaming liquid. Probably don't want to get too close to it. You can see the people, and well, you put them in a vehicle, so they're fine, actually. You make your way over to this shantytown, and you do see that there are security details patrolling. A team of them, a squad of 4 of them, sort of congregates as they see you approaching, because it's hard to miss, and make their way, out of the outskirts of this shantytown, down to the road, if you will call it that. They don't point their weapons at you. They do have them at their side, sort of hold up a hand.
Stopping. I will open up so I can talk to them, so we can have the dialogue.
What do you want? Communications are down last we heard. Stand by. Did not hear anything about you.
Yeah, probably not. I've got some of the civilians who've just come in to check in on the people outside.
They're fine, as they have been.
Yeah, I think for their well-being, for their peace of mind, they'd like to see that for themselves.
I can bring someone out.
Or you can let them in.
looks back to this. It's probably like a dump truck that you put these people
Right.
in.
Mm-hmm.
They want to come in, pat them down, and they can come in. You're staying here. We don't need you knocking this place over.
Hey, they call me Twinkle Toes. I'm very light on my feet. Don't worry. So, hear me out, right? I'm tired. I'm sure you're tired. But I'm here to look after these folks. So, I'm
And
gonna
I'm
go
here to
in.
look after these folks.
Aren't those the same folk? Really? If you think about it?
Depends on who you ask.
Hmm.
And right now, I can't ask.
Yeah, well. We're good at what we do. Listen. I'm going in to look after these folks.
You're leaving this monstrosity here, right? It's not gonna fit.
I mean, not in, but let me a little closer so that way I can just get to it if I need to. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm really just here to look out for the people I came with. Okay?
We'll escort you.
Yeah, okay.
Waves his rifle in your direction as you approach the edge of this shantytown. And yeah, I mean, it is very cyberpunk back alley dog town. There is no space for your mech. There is like maybe two people shoulder to shoulder could push their way through the winding makeshift precarious streets here.
Sure. I just wanted to make sure that I was close enough to the shantytown. That way, when I was in there, that I could just hop back into the mech if need.
Right.
This is fine. Yeah. Yeah, so I will pop out and join the rest of the gang getting patted down, I guess.
All right. Do you attempt to bring a weapon?
My sidearm, like a single one.
You're gonna make it a whole thing if I tell you to leave that here, are you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're not about to have me in a foreign place outside of my mech without at least a single firearm. I'll put the others back, no problem. I'm keeping one.
Whistles to a few of his comrades who have sort of congregated in the area, sort of gives him a head nod like some shit's happening. Waves you forward with his rifle again. Here to see anyone in particular?
I don't know. What's your name?
Steve.
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking here to see Steve.
All right, Twinkle Toes. Nice to meet you. You want to have a tea party?
I mean, maybe. You got good tea over here?
No.
Ah, damn. How about beer? You do? Yeah, you do. Okay, Steve. Ooh, you want to hate me so bad. But I'm charming, and you don't like it. I know, I get it.
Damn it, Q.
Yeah, so he's just gonna walk in with the rest of the people. I'm really just looking out for him, looking over them.
Okay.
But I am getting the comms of whatever the fuck is happening there.
We'll get to that in just a moment. Because actually this group of people sort of slowly, cautiously, confusedly, afraidedly meanders their way down the streets loosely of this shanty town loosely, and just sort of looking at it in wonder, and I don't want to say wonder and awe, but they almost don't believe it's there, that they're there, that anybody's here. And you can see there are people moving about. It is nighttime. Remember, I keep forgetting to set the scene that it is nighttime. It is dark out. I would put it in the overlay, but when I turn nighttime on in Foundry, it makes everything super dark and nobody can see anything.
Oh no.
So, just to set the stage, because I keep forgetting, it is nighttime. Though, nighttime when you're this close to a red dwarf, there's still this sort of reddish haze that emanates just over the horizon. But you do see a few people milling about the place, a few people who sort of poke their heads out of... There would be windows, and there would be sealed doors, because, again, Drespel 1 is hot with a thin atmosphere. So even just moving down these streets, because you're not used to it, you are quickly becoming winded, and it is quite hot. Even at night, it's upwards of 100 degrees.
Gotcha.
And they don't really know where to go. There's a little bit of relief that there's something here, and that they can confirm there's something here, and that they confirm there are people here, but it doesn't really look like they know where to go.
Gotcha.
But you do see a few of these people sort of stick their heads up behind windows and look out. A few doors open up. People poke their heads out. You see somebody, a young teen, scurry their way out of a door really quickly past you guys and down another alleyway, let's say. You probably don't go very far into this place. It's not huge. There's a lot of...
Yeah.
There's a lot more up and maybe down than necessarily sprawling out. Very precarious looking. Fortunately, not a lot of storms here on Drespel 1. But probably don't want to lean against anything structural too hard.
I'm used to sounds like this.
Also, you have your suit. And in fact, you can seal it up. I say you're probably winded and hot, but you're in a vac suit, so you're probably fine. Your instruments tell you that you would be winded and quite hot if you open up your suit. And those instruments are starting to, you hear that of radiation. Geiger counter built into your suit. Low levels, but over time, problematic.
Yeah.
You can see the people around here. You don't immediately clock it at first, but they look sunburned. Most of them are hunched over. They look maybe not entirely malnourished, but not healthy, not strong. They're dirty, caked with soot, sweat, grime.
Did Steve escort us?
Steve and a few of his pals, yeah.
Okay.
They're not really,
Steve...
there's not enough room to surround you, so there's a couple in front of you and a couple behind this train moving down these alleyways.
All right. I'm gonna, match pace with Steve. So, y'all are aware of the levels of radiation, right?
Yeah. Byproduct of the refinement process.
And you have them right next to it.
I didn't build this place. I'm just the doorman.
Yeah, but you're the doorman for the company that's done this. Okay. Are there any countermeasures that you all are implementing? Anything to help with that? Because long term, your workforce is going to be diminished.
It's not a
Sorry.
question I concern myself with.
Damn, Steve. Here, I thought we were getting somewhere.
Yeah? Fucking sucks. Shouldn't have blown shit up. Natural deterrent. My best guess.
Hmm. Okay.
Hey,
You
we
got it,
tried when we got here. We tried. And,
Tried to what exactly?
integrate.
Apart from
Hey, bring it up with someone higher than me. You don't get stuck out in this shithole because you're making decisions.
I'm just trying to understand what happened. And I don't want to hear it from them. I don't want the canned answer. I want to know what really fucking happened. I bet you were on the ground.
Yeah?
Yeah. What happened?
We came in, secured the facility, we explained what was going on. We offered to continue things as they had been going, under new management, under new guidance. Again, don't look at me.
I mean, I kind of want to, but not for this. Go ahead.
Cute twinkle toes.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Some of them did. Some of them didn't. He motions broadly and accidentally smacks against the sheet metal wall of some of these buildings, which shakes. And he sort of leans back and...
Careful.
I hate this fucking place.
Yeah, well...
These are the saboteurs. These are the murderers. These are the ones...
The ones that refuse to go quietly?
If you want to call it that. We're here
You
for a
came
reason.
in.
They were here for a reason.
Sure.
We tried to align those.
Sure.
Man, I don't know.
Hey, there's no judgment here between me and you. You were just
Really,
doing your job.
it feels like
I
a bit of
get it.
judgment here, Twinkle Toes.
Not at you. Of the situation, sure, not at you. You were just doing what you had to do.
My folks grew up on a planet not like this, not unlike this.
Mhm.
Not all of
So-
this, but they didn't go
Right.
blowing up factories and launching molten salt bombs.
Okay. Were they part of a hostile takeover?
You live long enough one place out there, something's hostilely taking over something.
Yeah. I get that. Just me. My home planet was a prime target for pirates. There was always somebody trying to come in. So we got real good at protecting ours. So I get it. On both sides, honestly. For when I hear you all are we're trying to do something important. And they were just trying to protect their home. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it. But these bastards here put a lot of my friends in the ground too. So if they gotta work that off, they'll work that off.
And this is where we're going to disagree. You don't work off fighting for your home.
Fighting for your
I'm
home
sorry.
means something a lot different when you don't have a home anymore.
I'm sorry that you lost your friends. It's never easy.
Look, what do you want out here? Because we haven't been in contact with somebody since we heard a damn lot of explosions. Except the order is stand down. So we're standing down. I don't know who the fuck you
Right.
are. What do you want?
You can call me Logan. Or you can keep calling me Twinkle Toast. That's fine. And I already told you what I wanted. I'm here to bring the people that were in there out here.
Alright, what do they
Check
want?
on their
Because they're wandering around like headless
Hey, man, I
sheep.
don't know. Yeah. I don't know. They're trying to see if they got folk out here.
Probably do.
Probably. Just let them have a moment, man. Everything's up in the air right now. Take a breath. Take a breather. Have a walk. You can walk me back to my mech.
Turns around and waves you back.
Uh-huh.
And you do get to, again, the exterior of this shanty town when you hear the commotion over open comms. And at first, it's just sort of communication in the background, the mumbling of this person who you do not know as the Oracle, the mumbling back there that then gets a little louder and a little louder. And then there is a gasp and a thwack of bodies hitting together, the crumpling of people sprawling on the floor and hitting the wall, and material on material, and flesh slammed against flesh.
What the
And
fuck
that
is going
wet
on?
a pause. And you do say that. You go back to open comms. What the fuck is going on? Starblood, you're too much in shock to have even processed that came through on the radio while all this was happening. But
Okay. Everyone sound off. Who is that? What is going on?
Jack, what the fuck is going on?
I told you what the fuck's going on.
This is
Oh, boy.
Blacksmith. I'm still just hanging out at the moment. Solitaire, you good?
Shit.
I don't like that.
Where were they? But you had
I-
eyes on them, right?
No, I was told to sit the fuck down, basically.
I
But
said
it-
Bite,
and-
not Blacksmith.
Oh, sorry.
Too many B names. They're no longer in the complex. They left, did they not? They did. No, they're inside the complex.
They're
Why?
in.
They're just in a weird spot. Do I have cameras on them? We established that I could
That's
follow
a good point.
them.
You followed them to the hallway, perpendicular to where they went. So you saw them turn down a hallway, but there's no camera looking down that hallway, let alone in the room where they
Okay.
are. But
I-
you didn't see them come out any other corridor.
Okay. I mean, I followed them to a hallway, but there's no camera. I mean, there's like 1,000 fucking cameras in this place. I've been looking.
The solitaire is down, not hurt. I don't think. I've got this under control. Just
You sound like you're developing asthma, not that you have it under control.
everything here is handled.
Starblood,
Not
you
ideal.
feel a hand on your shoulder. Not hard,
Immediately.
not a tight grip, but
immediately I go to grab it.
Okay, you grab it.
And and look up.
Okay, it's
Upon looking up though, he can't see anything because there's still a bunch of blood.
it's dark,
on
blood
the,
smeared
the
on
visor.
your visor.
Yeah, and I think so. He's gonna try and with a closed fist, sort of wipe at it, which only really smears more of it across everything and coats his glove. And then eventually he's gonna have to take a hand off of the hand on his shoulder, to press a second release on the helmet, which is gonna open that front piece, just sort of retract it. There's sort of like sections of this tempered whatever like neo glass.
You are
that it is,
immediately
sort of
hit
like-
with the pungent smell of blood mixed with sweat, mixed with other unkept bodily functions.
I don't think it even
food.
registers in that moment. In that like in where he is right now, I don't think it even registers what he's smelling.
All right.
Just wide-eyed looking up at whoever is touching you.
You look up, and for the moment, you just see the Oracle standing above you, looking down at you.
Is he also on top of me?
Yes. It's the Commodore. It's just the Commodore. Just the Commodore.
Oh my god, you're super haunted now.
Before realizing that, he like swipes the hand away, just like swats it away, and there's like a scurry where he just like drags himself back with like the one open hand, the fist, and whatever purchase his feet can get under him. But it's
backs up.
messy. He's slipping on blood.
Mm-hmm.
And then shakily, my eyes look down. Is his hand still resting on his pistol?
He actually has his pistol. It's out of his holster. It's drawn, but he's not pointing it at you.
Oh, I hate this. I think there's a very clear, tense silence where Starblood's eyes go from the pistol up to the Commodore's face, and back to the pistol, and back up to the Commodore's face.
Calm down.
And then slowly he starts to get up instead
Breathe.
of...
Breathe.
Commodore, why don't you put that away?
Why don't you drop that?
Drop
Do you
what?
still have the axe? Or you said you threw that away.
No, the axe
actually.
went
Yeah.
flying
Never-
the moment he got
Scratch
tackled.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just puts a hand up and puts it back in his holster. I knew this was a mistake.
Your oracle attacked one of my men. The mistake here was allowing us to think that this conversation was a safe one.
I never said anything about safe.
Yes, but if you knew that there was a threat, you could have warned us.
I did as
Oh.
best as I could.
So did we. Now, respectfully, are you going to tell me what he did to my soldier?
This is the most I've seen him move in 15 years.
What kind of medical equipment or setup do you have?
We have a full med bay.
That's where we're taking him.
How present and aware is Starblood in the moment right now to insight check this guy, to read his disposition? Because you are borderline shock right now, I presume.
Yeah, I don't think Starblood is in the place where
Okay.
he's going to be able to. Maybe, if I may, maybe with like added difficulty and
I'll-
he has. Yeah, because I was gonna
No,
say he
I'll-
has to read a situation.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it would not. It's not.
It's not important. It's not terribly important. And in fact, looking at the clock here, I would like to, unless you all protest here, we're actually gonna wrap this up narratively. So, you probably don't pick up on its Starblood, but the camera very much does, as it lingers on the Commodore for just a second. Who does tilt his head up, stand up a little bit straighter, and gets that smirk on his face, just barely. Hard to register, but that just sort of corner smirk and a little up tilt of the eyes. That you are now, at least in his mind, asking for his help. And that the situation has tilted back in his favor in some way. The two of you can take Solitaire down to the med bay, put him on a medical bed, and get some scanners out, start poking and prodding and waving sci-fi magic rods over him.
Starblood at no point is going to leave the Commodore's side.
Of course.
They are always going to be together at every point.
Of course. It looks like right now Solitaire is simply unconscious. There's a superficial tear, laceration of his data jack here. It might require very minor surgery just to, deal with how the cables and whatnot have tugged just a little bit, and even by just
So that
a little
can be
bit,
dealt with at Union.
it could be done.
When we
Yeah,
get back to
dealt with at Union.
FS12, yeah.
Exactly.
That's not
Yep.
happening here.
There's no life-threatening injuries, and right now, as far as the medical equipment is concerned, he is simply unconscious. Maybe has a concussion. You can hook him up to sci-fi version EKG or whatnot. You can see his brain patterns are a little weird, but you don't have the medical understanding. The Commodore doesn't have the medical understanding. The medic on staff, which there is one, this is actually a full med bay. And I say med bay, this is a full, small hospital here, built into the side of this arcology. It's a whole community folded inward, basically. It's a whole small hospital, and take you in, go past reception, get into the whole hospital interior, and run a whole bunch of tests. Meanwhile, the transport does land. And I think we will cut simply to two rows, or flanking on either side, rows of the sort of standard stock mechs that you guys are used to using, the Everests and their variant, lining the road down to the transport ship that has landed. We see a small contingent of security forces moving with the Commodore alongside your team, Hajiri, Lich, Hotjaw. You're all helping with Solitaire on a stretcher. And you can make your way into the transport ship. Your mechs are all loaded up, kind of folded down into their compact versions as they are lifted up and pulled back into the launch tubes.
If I may, just really quickly, before we step out and reunite with the rest of the squad, Starblood, there's a moment where once they're ready to step out, Starblood brings up his arm and the data pad on it and punches a couple of buttons, and there is a very soft, hiss as he activates one of the stims that he has implanted in the suit. Gonna take a dose of freeze.
Gotcha. How often?
And
do
then
you
there's
take
a
freeze?
very more often than I'm willing to admit, but not as often as one would maybe call it a definite problem.
Cool.
But there was a moment where he does that and he just... And then, yeah.
And with that, we see we see Solitaire get loaded up into a stasis chamber. You've been patched up. There's a bandage on your neck. You are not conscious. You have not been conscious. You are laid out in a stasis chamber. I could make this more complicated than I need to, but I would like to wrap up this mission. So we see side by side with a combination of the Commodore's security and members of the support team. Walking side by side is Blacksmith and the Commodore, who are both taken to their own stasis chambers, laid down next to each other. The Commodore is not handcuffed, unless you really want to press that concession. But he's going to spend his next 7 years, like you guys, in cryostasis. It's not like he's going anywhere. And we see
There
the
is
ship.
going to be a push for him to give up his weapon, though, I feel like.
He will not give up his weapon, but he will give you the heat sink.
That works.
So we can see a short exchange without visuals. I imagine there's just this sort of low ringing and heartbeat as we see Starblood, your hand reach out, we see your lips move, we see his lips move, and he takes the weapon, unclasps the heatsink, puts it in your hand. Your glove is bloodstained. Hand pulls back. Bay doors close up. You see the ship take off and head up to orbit. And that is where we are going to wrap up our first mission of the Starcrier Conflict. We can pick up next week if we need any flashbacks or if we need to have conversations referencing things that happened at the very end here. But I wanted to wrap up this first mission here. So, we're gonna see about an after show because I definitely have some things I want to talk about. But because it's been heavy, and I know it's been a lot of narration on my part, and I know we've had a lot going on with very select individuals, just to have it said, because I think it's important, because safety and communication are very important. How are you guys doing? Everyone good? Everyone having fun? Everybody enjoying this level of uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
I'm exhausted, but in a good way.
Love it.
Yes. I sleep good.
And that concludes what was supposed to be episode 1 of the Starcrier Conflict, Rumors from the Void.
Yeah,
You
about
gotta,
that.
you gotta stop saying that. It just makes us all feel bad.
No, I love it. No, don't feel bad.
at
I
all.
love it.
It makes me feel bad. You're like, supposed to be
See,
one
the
episode.
thing is,
It means we're doing our job.
yes, it means you are doing your job. Because a GM cannot and should not write his GM prep notes as a screenplay like I do. Because I could make this one episode if you all had scripts and we were actually filming instead of narrating, but because words take longer than visuals and I have no idea what you guys are going to do at any given moment, one episode can take 5 parts instead of 2 or 3 that I planned. But I love it. You guys did absolutely fantastic. We'll save that for the after show because we got some great stuff to talk about. But yes, everybody gets gold stars.
Yay!
Gold, screaming, bloody stars.
Amazing.
That's
Oh,
the best
With
kind.
little teeth in them.
Yep.
With little teeth.
Wait, I got this. I'm on a mission
Oh
now.
no!
Oh no.
What have we done?
I'm gonna. I'm
You
gonna
set me off.
I gotta
I'm ready to
start
go.
making emotes or whatnot. These things you keep coming up with us.
I'm so happy to provide.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap us up. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Starcrier Conflict. It was heavy. It got strange this episode, and I've been waiting for it. We had some great mech combat leading up to this. We had some great narrative moments here, some great character building, but I knew this episode was gonna get tense and it was gonna get weird. And I think it was great. So we'll talk about that more later.
Things.
Yep. We'll talk about that more in our after show. Speaking of which, head over to our Ko-Fi if you like what you heard here and would like to support the channel. Whatever we get through Ko-Fi will go back into things like art and music and potentially bringing on editors or other writers or just people in the indie TTRPG community, and specifically the indie TTRPG community and indie creators adjacent to it. Bring them into the channel so that I can help support other creatives. Betters the production quality here on RPGs Uncovered and helps me work with and collaborate and pay other creators, which I think is one of the best parts of working in the indie TTRPG sphere, that we all get along and just want to share awesome stories and awesome games. I can soapbox about that later. So go check out the Ko-Fi. We have some after shows up there. Still getting character dossiers put together. Might get some Spotify playlists at some point. We'll see. And now that we are done with the actual episode 1 first mission, or really episode 2, because first one was character vignettes. I'm gonna digitize all of my GM notes, and there's a lot of them, and do a little write-up. I don't know if I'm going to make a whole module. Maybe when we're done with Season 1, I'll put it all together in a module. But I'm going to have all my GM notes up there too. So whether you're looking for player-side information or GM-side information or just general behind-the-scenes sort of goodies like you get on DVD extras, come check out our Ko-Fi, because we got some great stuff from other seasons. We got some great stuff coming up for the Starcrier Conflict. Other than that, we have the Mayhem meter, of course. I try to drop it in chat when I can. I would love to ramp things up even more with the Mayhem meter. I know times are tough for everybody right now. But if you do have disposable income, it would help me help these wonderful people and compensate them for their incredible talent and time and dedication to this show if you could drop a couple bucks, whatever you may have, in the Mayhem meter. And eventually it'll tip over to some absolute mayhem, because what didn't happen in this episode, I am banking for a future episode. It's gonna be good. When it happens, it's gonna be good, guys, so get those tips in. Otherwise, just let people know, hit up social media, let them know you enjoyed the Starcrier Conflict. All the buttons, like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is, on all those different channels that we're on. Whatever flavor the button, whatever means you can help contribute is always appreciated. What are you freaking out about, Q? What are you shaking your head at me for?
I'm not. It's not at you. It's not at you at all. You'll see. You'll see. It's fine.
I know.
Oh,
what I've
there's
done.
stuff in the Discord. Haley, what have you done now? All right.
Giving us all a gift. That's
Oh.
This is exactly what I'm
Thanks,
talking about,
man.
people. Help
So
me
good.
help me pay these people, because they deserve it, man. They deserve it. All right. That's enough of me mumbling on. Let me throw it back to my players, and then afterwards we'll have a little word about our sponsor, Veil the Void Reforged, and go from there. So, we're gonna take some time to decompress after this, and we'll have a conversation. Let's throw it back to the players, talk about what you have going on. Sean, when you're not comatose, having visions of craziness, what do you normally do?
I'm Sean, aka Rise, aka Raven Black Photography. What do I got going on? Oh, tomorrow actually is be over on Singularity RPG. We are playing Alien. Super fun. Come check that out. Probably all going to die in that game. Let's see. What else we got going on? On the... I have to look at dates here. The 9th, that's Thursday the 9th of May, be over on Nerds with Dice RPG. We are playing Iron Sworn. This will be episode 2 of this season. And we just learned that we have to kill the other 2 rulers of the valley. So that's fun. Otherwise, the first one that we killed will just come back. And she was kind of a bitch, so we don't want that. Other than that, on the 21st of next month, I will be over on Lost Caravan RPG playing Lancer again for a one-shot, DM'd by my good friend Hooper, and actually Jack will be joining me for that. So that's going to be a real fun game.
I am itching to be on the other side of this. I have a Hydra, and it's stupid. Sorry, continue.
We're going to be playing very stupid machines. We are going for maximum memory this time, I think. Other than that, yeah, that's what I've got going on here every Sunday. Nerds with Dice every other Thursday for Ironsworn. And yeah, other than that, if you want to check out my photography, you can find that on Instagram and on Threads as Raven Black Photography. I actually have a con coming up here in Missoula called MizCon. It's my local home base con kind of thingy. And I'm hoping I'll be able to take a crap ton of cool cosplay pictures and stuff while I'm there. So look for that coming up. Other than that, I'll give it to Haley.
Hello. Hey, howdy, bye. My name is Haley. I use they, them pronouns for reference. Shiv is she, they. But yeah, you can find me at Haley Ann on, I'm always going to call it Twitter. I don't care.
It's Twitter.
I don't care if
It's Twitter. It's
It is. Anyways, or honestly, Haley on Instagram, whatever you want to do. But yeah, no, just screaming into the void about TTRPGs. I love doing stuff like this, having fun here every Sunday.
Hi, it me.
Hit Q.
Hey, and I'm not muted. Hey, it's Q. You can find me. We're not doing this. You can find me at Midnight Inc. That's Midnight_INQ. Q is my name. I'm sure you get it. I have things and stuff. I'm not going through all of it because there's simply too much. But you know, I'm part of the production team for Tales from the Table Studios. We've got stuff in the works. It's happening. Be on the lookout. I'm also over on Live from the Apocalypse a lot and Entropy Emporium. So at any point during those days, you can probably find me. I'm hanging. We out here.
Lots of great channels mentioned from these folks. Go check them all out. Sorry,
yes,
Andrew.
all the channels are great. Hi, I'm Andrew. I use he, him pronouns. I've been playing Intermission, aka Blacksmith, also he, him pronouns. And I am that gamer Ajax on all of the socials. I'm primarily active on Threads these days, just where I've been having the most fun. I run a YouTube channel where I try to kind of share my love of tabletop games with tips and tricks, guides, stories, little game impressions that after I look over them, just because I like being able to geek out about new games, and I have so many that I have to play through. Also, I'll just do another little plug because Veil of the Void is our sponsor, and that was the game I cut my GM teeth on, basically. I wrote a supplement for that, actually. It's Ajax's Amazing Armory. So, just hear me out. You can get the free demo of that game, get the supplement, and you can play the game with a bunch of really cool stuff up to level 5 for free. So, yeah, that's all I got. I'll go ahead and toss it over to Lion.
Hey, all, it's Drake Lion Hart. Most people call me Lion. I use they, he pronouns, and tonight I have been John Tavik Creighton Vasier Harrison the Fourth, aka Starblood. Saving butts and making everything worse as per the usual. I am the creative director for Tales from the Table Studios, something that started as an actual play studio, now has grown into an amazing community. Come hang out with us, check us out. We've got incredible creatives, storytellers, cast members, just everyone across the TTRPG spectrum So come hang out with us, say hi. You can find me at the Lion Knight 42 over on Twitter and everywhere else as TFTT Studios, which is also on Twitter, but you'll also find us everywhere else at that, and on Twitch at Tales from the Table Studios, and at YouTube under the same name. We recently did a casting call that closed for Echoes of Refinement, an upcoming show that we have that I'm very excited about. We'll have some news about debuts and stuff like that in the next week or two, which I'm so hyped for, and some other really cool stuff that we're going to be able to talk about soon. I have been dying to be able to talk about this stuff for so long, and I'm so hyped we're finally going to get to. So that's great. Keep some eyes and ears out for that. I also write modules and games. I recently released my first one-page, two-player TTRPG, Poise and Rationality, Closing the Goddamn Door, which you can find over on itch at Tales from the Table Studios. I also have a Kids on Bikes module called One Night at Ollie's, inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's. It's absolutely phenomenal. We have an actual play of that from last year's Halloween. You can find that over on our YouTube. There will be a sequel, both a sequel AP and a sequel game, and it's going to be phenomenal. It's already started being written. I'm very hyped to be able to get that to y'all. And in a longer-term project, I'm working on a game called Awesome Adventures, a Powered by the Apocalypse game modeled after Adventure Time, Amphibia, Steven Universe, One Piece, where you want to really explore your relationships with yourself, the people around you, and a world that is both familiar and strange all at the same time. It's going to be a great time. I'm hoping to be able to talk about some alpha testing in the next couple of months. We'll see. Also keep your ears out for that. That's it for me. So thanks so much. I loved being here, and I always love being here. Check all these people out.
Indeed. Lots of great channels all these folks are on. Lots of great stuff they do. Go check them out. One other shout out to Zach Walsh, who is the excellent musical mastermind behind our intro, both narration and music. So if you're looking for voiceover work, he is looking to get into that some more. Go check him out. And, of course, our sponsor, Veil of the Void Reforged. And let me bring that up because I wrote some fun things about it. It's a great game. You know, I watched way too much Mad Men back when it came out, and I fancy myself a copyright. So let me pull up some of these things. But it's a great game. I've been talking about it on the channel. I've done tutorials and, I guess you could call them reviews, and one-shots, an entire mini-series with Veil of the Void. Long before they were a sponsor of this show. I'm over on their network every other Tuesday playing their game on their channel, where I talk about Starcrier, so, we're just helping each other out. So, Veil of the Void Reforged. The Starcrier Conflict is brought to you in part by Veil of the Void Reforged. Grab a fistful of your favorite six-sided dice and set out on an adventure across the stars. Learn and improve your skills with every roll. Blitz across the battlefield, slashing down foes, casting magic, and supporting your teammates, all in a single turn. And face the wrath of enemies who will learn and grow against you. Visit sdgcreatives.com and purchase Veil the Void Reforged for your next adventure today. And use code RPG at checkout for 10% off. And as Andrew said, there's a lot of great stuff out there for free. The free core rules that you can pick up, Andrew's awesome supplement, and Prophecy just came out. And the Berserker class the Berserker class is dropping Tuesday. The Berserker class is dropping Tuesday. You might have heard it here, folks. I don't know. He's mentioned it on Twitter, so I hope I'm not breaking anything. It's a great class. It's sci-fi barbarian, but a lot of great nuance. Great stuff. Go check it out. Anyway, that's Veil of the Void Reforged. Great stuff. Go check out previous seasons of RPGs Uncovered if you want a great story. In fact, Haley was on for a one-shot, and it was super fun. That was actually the other side of the first one or two episodes of the miniseries we did. There is a path that split, and the miniseries went one way, and then we did a one-shot during a charity event that went the other way, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making references to the miniseries.
Incredible.
So if you watch both, you can pick those out. It's a lot of fun. All right, I think that's all I have going on. So that's where we're going to wrap up tonight's crazy, wacky, traumatic episode of the Starcrier Conflict. Join us next Sunday for some downtime, some much-needed downtime episode of the Starcrier Conflict. Everybody's going to level up. They're going to get their first license level. That's very exciting. We're going to do a little after-action report. We're going to have a lot of roleplay, maybe get some bonding in, I hope, and just hopefully have some time to relax after all of this. So join us next week for a little bit of slice of life after what we all just went through here. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to go do an after show, so head over to the Ko-Fi and see what we have so far, and stay tuned for more. And if you made it to this point but would rather listen on podcast, we have episode 1 available through Acast and on Spotify. I'm working on getting all of the other episodes set up. Each streamed episode is going to be 2 podcast episodes, just to keep it more brief. I know people don't want to turn on a 3-hour podcast, so it's going to be 2-hour-ish podcasts per episode. I do a lot. I cut it down a bunch, get rid of all the humming and hawing and ums and whatnot, dice rolls and thinking about stuff, and turn it into a great story with some great sound effects. And we had a lot of great sound effects today. Man, this is going to be a lot of sound work when editing this episode.
But seriously, go listen to the podcast on Spotify. It's phenomenal. It's so good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on the cast. I'm just saying it's really good.
It's so good. The editing takes it just a fucking step beyond. It's crazy.
Thank you. That means a lot, because it's a lot of work. I am almost done with part 2 of episode 1, and then we'll. Obviously, I designed these as a backlog, so if you're following live, you're gonna know what's coming up long before the podcast, folks. But the podcasts are edited down to, it's not just the best bits; it's all the bits, but with all of the extra bits you don't need taken out, and a lot of great sound design, if I may say so myself. So go check those out. Once I get enough hours on Acast, I can start throwing it over to Apple and Amazon and other places. But if you enjoy the podcast, or if you enjoy the show and would just like to help the podcast out, head over to Acast or Spotify and leave us a nice review, because it really does help our AI overlords show me off more, which I like. I'd love to get more listeners and more viewers onto this story, because it's a project I love, and I love that these guys are doing such great, talented, creative work with it. And reviews, as far as I know, is what make the podcast world go round. So if you like it, leave a review, check the stars, press the buttons, however it works. Anyway, I'm gonna go do more talking on an after show. I need more water. As always, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Keep having fun. Keep checking back here at RPGs Uncovered for more of the Starcrier Conflict. Good night, folks, and happy time zone.
Bye-bye.